Nope. 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 This is football, baby.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Here we go.
Chicago's trading up.
100.
Yes.
What? Here it is. Or just reported.
The tape never lies.
The people drop off, but we still keep rocking.
You'll never know how good your football team's going to be until you play with maximum effort.
Keeping it 100.
There's open competition over the North and never give it back.
Smartest man.
My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man and Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east to west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now they're all stuck like the Jew and now and later. Debaters, frauds get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sack scrolling like a fool, drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Jimmy. What we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies, the truth, you see. We laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Trick Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Justin Fields gets outside the pocket, puts that ball perfectly where only Mooney can get it. 2 feet.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
First never lies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo! This is Claudio the Barber, and this is TTNL's Keepin' It 100, the best bear show on the planet, bar none. Listen, in life, if there's 3 things that are guaranteed, is death, taxes, and the Bears giving up a 10-point lead in the fucking fourth quarter. What the fuck? But you know what? The show keeps going on. There's a lot to talk about. So, of course, we got another great show for you tonight. We got a special guest, and I don't think anybody can guess it. So let's bring on the boys, Shane, the smartest man, Marcel, and Draft Dr.
Yo. See, we pulled the okie doke. The surprise is just us.
That's it. That's enough. Just us is enough.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
He's getting choked up over there. I think he just blew out a pistachio across the room or something.
Pistachio.
What's
oh my
up,
God,
boys?
we're back. I like
Charlie.
I'm not even Festivus. I got my poles in the back.
Yeah.
I bought Steph a stripper's pole for Christmas.
I love all.
All right.
Let's do some entertaining.
Be a pop-up show? Is it going to be a
Yeah.
pop-up?
Oh,
I don't know. He's pretty old. He might need some reinforcements. Come on, Shane.
it's always popping up. It's always popping up. It's just so slick and skinny in a hole.
Yeah.
That drop.
Jose
right.
Cotto.
Jose Cotto's in that drop.
Gotta get him back on the show.
I know.
I know I'm short, right?
Yes, I know I'm short. Tonight's going to be a short show.
Yeah.
Condensed down for the holiday season.
32 minutes.
That's it.
I don't know about that short, but we're
So
going to be.
do we have any guesses who the Put it in the chat.
There's been some in the chat.
We're early in the
Thought it
show.
was Angelo. Brad.
Early in the show.
Angelo.
No. Mike Lombardi. No.
Mike Lombardi. Who got it?
Yeah, it's Mike Lombardi. I'm going to call him a fucking cunt right to his face live on air.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Mike Lombardi. Has he taken ownership of his terrible take?
I tweeted him a couple of times Sunday. After he got his second sack, I tagged him and I said, "Is anybody having a worse fucking day than Mike Lombardi right now?" But yeah, he wouldn't.
Yes, the Bears.
Dude, I can't
Yeah, that's true. Well, the game wasn't over by that time. No,
Luke Getsy.
it's not Pat the designer.
I would like to have Pat the designer on the show. I want to know who this guy is, his story, his backstory.
Yeah.
Pat the designer's backstory.
Cap,
Then Bears talk.
we got lunch with Larry.
Oh my
Brad,
God. Can you imagine if Larry Mayer came on?
Robbie Gold,
I would have a clip of
Don Burr.
Larry Mayer's 10 worst questions all time. Go.
Bukowski.
Hey, coach.
Charles Leno.
Imagine.
That would be great, actually, Charles Leno.
Bernstein and Holmes. Olin.
Oh my God. Imagine Bernstein and Holmes. I would love to talk to those two as well.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Bernstein and Holmes. Some of these, honestly, I'm not saying Bernstein and Holmes, just some of these guys are afraid to come on and keep it 100.
Yeah.
You know, there's fair weather fans out there. And there's also fair weather analysts out there.
Or anal cis. Right. That's
as
what we
well
like.
as those. And the one thing I will say that has been consistent here is that we don't hide from our takes. And everybody's going to miss. But I think, like Michael Jackson, TTNL has had a lot more hits.
It's definitely not Michael Jackson either, if anybody gets that. He's not on tonight.
I didn't even know he had a video game. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you never played that?
I never played that video game. And the crazy thing, he's like saving kids. And thanks, Michael.
We have a clip from it.
Opposite of that.
We have a clip from her hair.
Good.
It is.
Pretty
we
serious.
got a lot to talk about. The guest is devouring the cutlets that we sent him.
I know.
Chicken cutlets.
He might have it right. This guy is looking for a new gig. He
really
got fired.
Throwing him down with two hands over there. What are you doing?
They went for that $20K for the appearance.
He's
come on, bro.
Showed up, though. What a guy. Tommy DeVito. He's a good guy. He showed up.
You gotta
free of charge.
Well, what are you gonna do? Free of charge with Phil and Shane?
Yeah.
Of course I'm gonna come on the show.
Perfect.
You ready to bring him out?
Bring him out. Bring him out.
We do it the TTNL way here on a holiday season. We bring out the Grinch that stole. No, he's more of a happy, jolly fellow.
He's the pool boy.
Let's bring him out our way here.
Rise and shine, Bears fans. When we hear the term brick by brick,
just brick by brick,
it means starting at the bottom and working your way up.
His tape never lies.
This guy personifies that. But enough with the pleasantries.
I can't do this shit.
Let's get to the real part of this intro for this former Hoosier turned Boilermaker.
Oh, my own.
The former Arlington Heights pool boy.
Are you fucking cunt?
The former Mitch apologist.
It's not all on Mitch.
This guy wanted Josh Bellamy resigned.
Shit, I fucked up.
He's never been afraid to stop on the roadside for a photo op.
You're a dumb fuck.
He saws bricks while he's talking on the phone.
That's dumber than
and
dumb.
He's never learned to set up his voicemail.
Yo, word to Mama Helen. Dallas, y'all.
Bears fans,
The Chatterbaiter.
TTNL fans.
Oh, but you'll talk to Sandlin now.
Give it up to the guy that turned down the opportunity to join forces with TTNL back in 2020.
This tape never lies, dumb fuck.
He's the guy that has his mom make cookies for his work Christmas parties.
You're all a bunch of haters.
He takes pictures of his wife signing the mortgage for their new home.
Want a man to hug and kiss.
He paid to have 3 crooked TVs installed at his house.
Do you think that he has a serious source, or do you think this is a janitor at Hallis Hall?
He's a bricklayer by day,
Dearly beloved,
Taco Bell connoisseur during lunch,
it's your Thunder buddy Greg again.
but a superstar and the face of CHGO.
Just win, baby.
He's Jenny Bragg's husband,
Want a man to hug and kiss.
Addie's dad. He's Shane's son.
Come on, Shane.
He's Phil's creation.
No funny business tonight.
He's as serious as cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the guy from Indiana.
Phil! I'm doing it! I hate you!
He's Greg Bragg.
There he is.
Yes.
Dude,
Cheers.
you got to finish it or it don't count.
Oh,
That was a giant jug, man.
woo! Let's get it started.
Right
If
before
you're coming to, you better be getting loud. That was an intro,
Cheers.
boys. Drunk Santa is back.
drunk
That was the only-
Santa.
The only thing left out of that amazing intro was Drunk Santa.
I
Yes,
did put
there
it
should have
in
been a
there.
drunk
It said
Santa
Santa.
We don't have access. It wasn't that. Was
Yeah.
that here or there?
It was copyrighted, I guess.
Yeah,
Deleted.
yeah, I think so.
That's
Yep.
bad,
Bags.
man.
I told Cherie that
Not
Greg
Angela,
was coming on
sorry.
tonight, and she's like, "Well, I'm going Christmas shopping."
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
well, how's your little shit kid, huh, Shane? How's
Oh,
he doing?
he's cancer free.
Oh, God,
Thanks for
finally.
asking.
Oh my
Hot
god.
damn time.
Just getting right into it.
Took him
Dang.
long enough.
Well, the best part about it is Greg and I were on the phone earlier today, and we literally talked about Josh Bellamy. And,
Yeah.
did you? And you forgot it was in the intro.
and we did. I
Well,
totally
for a
forgot
fact,
about it.
Shane forgot.
Hey, we all
Greg's
make
like he was
mistakes.
going to
I
make
love
me
you,
a
though.
he was going to make me a superstar.
Yep.
And I said, yeah, until he went to federal prison.
He didn't go. He didn't.
I
He just
know.
had to pay a hefty fine. He's living good in Florida.
He
Bezos
ratted
like
some people out. He ratted some people out.
Oh,
Yes, we
yeah.
have Greg Braggs of CHGO Sports
Yes.
Tonight.
Making moves, bro.
Greg Braggs, obviously friend, foe for
Fellow
some people.
beaten down Bears fan.
Fellow, exactly.
He's not
I
drinking
remember-
because he's partying. He's drinking to suppress his feelings about picking
I'm
number
drinking
one.
because
The
our
fucking
our
Panthers.
guys at CHGO tried to. But I mean, I'm surprised you haven't even started this out today with Hogue and Carm busting a fucking cheesehead out on the show.
Oh, we don't
Wow.
watch. We don't
I don't
watch.
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah, I held the line as best I could.
Do
with
we?
the-
Fill-
We
fill
have.
people in.
I think we
Fill
do
people
have
in,
Greg's
Brad.
live reaction to the cheesehead coming out, though. It's right here.
Oh, that is just a lot of jiggling.
That went on way too long.
Claudio, don't fucking laugh.
Phil's
I hate
least favorite clip.
Oh man.
I was
I
coming
beg
home
you
from
not to
Riley's
play
game
it.
tonight, and I said I got to load up some clips. Phil's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Dude, it's your least favorite." He's like, "Oh, I fucking hate that one."
I'm like,
Yeah.
I get embarrassed for you, Greg.
Oh,
That
man.
clip. People
Oh,
love that
yeah.
clip, though.
Under
I-
no
like I said today with the whole Packers
Can't
angle
do
with
it.
them trying to drive me crazy because we need the Packers to beat the Panthers was the whole semblance of the bit. And I said, I've been embarrassed by a lot of things that Mark Carman has said on our show, but I've never been more embarrassed than today.
Yeah.
So I'm happy I can join you guys to kind of even out the meatballery because those guys they were testing my patience today.
Under no circumstance can you ever break out a cheesehead or Packers gear. Never.
I'm rooting for the Packers to win.
Oh yeah,
100%. But I am never wearing the
Damn.
Packers. Any
Got a $100 super chat right out the gates coming at me.
Yeah, welcome to the real super chat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? With
I was watching your boys the other night, like, wait, we got 2 super chats. All right, $2. Let's get to it. Thank you, Steve.
Everybody thinks our guy Duke, who's a hefty supporter, is a mark, but he's a real person. We don't know who he is.
So hey, Braggs,
84. Go ahead.
Why did CHGO suggest Bears fans need to root for Jordan Love and the Packers? As a Bears fan, it's embarrassing supporting our rivals for a draft pick. There had to be a better angle. Feels like a low for Bears loyalty. Be better. Your thoughts? Well,
did you not know what FTP meant? It's fuck the pack.
Oh yeah, I know, but we have a.
Well, let me ask you this.
We have an FGB here.
Fuck Green Bay or fuck Greg Bragg. I don't know which one.
Yeah, Larison doesn't. Larison uses the other.
Larison just followed me on TikTok, and I'm like, old man, stay off of TikTok. We don't.
No, he just bought TikTok.
He just bought TikTok.
Bought TikTok.
I'd be worried what Larison's algorithm looks like on TikTok.
Larison is now the owner of TikTok. Yes.
Dude, this question about why the title of the show today. I guess I would just ask it to Shane. Who are you rooting for this Sunday? The Panthers or the Packers?
Listen, I want the number 1 pick in the draft. Yes, 100%.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think it's selling your soul. I have a line that we draw. I try to explain to Hogan
to win, and I want the number 1 pick in the draft.
Wanting them to win and actually putting on a cheesehead is too
right. There's a line, obviously. There's a line. And to me, it's like, okay, we're not even rooting for the Packers to win. We're just rooting for the Panthers to lose, which means the Packers got to win that game. We understand this, but I don't think it's selling your soul. I don't play this I'm more loyal than you game in Bears fandom. We all live and breathe this team. That's why we spend so much time talking about them. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Packers to win this week because we need that number 1 pick. For however you want that pick to be, which I know is constantly argued about. It's the same thing as last year in December when the Bears played the Packers. A lot of meatball fans, I know I'm wearing the meatball shirt, but a lot of fans were sitting there saying, no, I want to beat the Packers no matter what. I understand that sentiment. I'm not trying to say you're wrong as a fan. If that's how you feel, go for it. But me personally, I wanted the Bears to win that. I wanted the Bears to lose that game last year because I thought, let them win the battle. I want the Bears to win the war. And the same thing can be said for this year. You can take your little small victories and root for the Packers to lose this week. That's small-minded thinking. Yeah. I want to win the fucking war and beat the Packers and not let them, have this, if they were to let the Panthers win, Packers fans would mostly be happy. Why? Because they know it's going to screw us. Yeah. So I'm playing 4D chess. You guys can play checkers.
No, it's honestly, and I have to double down on this. It's reality. Like there's some people that go into the playoffs. I know that's an odd term for Bears fans since we haven't been there since 2018, but you don't root for anybody in the North to win in the playoffs. That's common law. Like it doesn't promote the division or anything. It doesn't make any. This isn't the SEC or the Big Ten. This is the NFL. No one gives a fuck how your division is. All it is winning. So yeah, you root against the division in the playoff. But if it's going to serve a purpose that is great for this organization, whether you believe it or not, having the first overall pick, then you are cheering for the Packers, as I will be, hoping they beat and should beat the Carolina Panthers. How the Falcons lost to them is ridiculous. So, of course, I'm cheering for the Packers because I have a plan to fix the Bears. And it involves having that first overall pick that we got to keep away from New England, who's had a dynasty. Think about that.
Well, I look at it like this. Last year, when we wanted the number 1 pick, the last week of the season, Phil was having heart palpitations, can't do it. Phil, would you trade that right now? You know what I mean? No DJ Moore, that situation. Exactly.
No.
So
Well,
it doesn't.
And
it
even
doesn't mean
and
shit.
now with conversations I've had with Phil while we put him up against the fire, like last year, me and Shane, we'd have phone conversations with you, Phil, and you were like, "No, I want the
don't
Bears to
believe
win."
in losing.
Right, and you think it's
follow what
a
I'm saying?
disease. Losing
Phil
is a
doesn't believe in
disease.
losing, so he became a Bears fan.
But
Great
Phil was
choice.
on the phone with me this last week, last few days, and saying that even before last week's game, that he just wants the Bears to lose because he wants Matt Eberflus gone. So there is an epiphany moment. I was proud of Phil in this moment because to me, there is times where you have to go against the grain of everything that you embody and everything that defines you as a Bears fan for the greater good.
I want to clarify that. I've never felt this in my fandom except for Nagy. So it feels like Groundhog Day. I feel no want for this coach. And I just feel like it's a dead end. And when you see this contingency of fans falling for the phoniness of this coach and this organization afraid to fire the guy during the season, I don't want there to be any doubt. And sure enough, Cleveland, again, what is it? 3 historic losses in one season.
Well, and that's the thing, but
I just don't.
You had another
think
one.
they do.
You had one last year also, a historic loss. So it's
Yes,
actually,
that's a fourth
and
one.
nobody
last
ever talks
year.
about that.
No one.
Right.
There's 4 historic and franchise losses. He is the worst. He has the worst record of any coach in 2 years that has carried the job. And there were people out there, and I was just at the point of like, I can't even root for this fucking team. It's so disgusting. And I love the talent on the team. Like, I believe, as Shane said, Ryan Poles has done a good job. When you look at, there's plenty to win with. And when
there's talent here.
There's talent there. There's no identity. This coach is responsible for both sides. Like that, people get this. Well, he can be the defensive coordinator, and we get a new. That doesn't happen. It just won't. So,
well, I was surprised to hear Eberflus today. I'm sure you guys both listen to the presser, and I was surprised to hear Eberflus admit that some of these short yardage offensive situations are something that he and Getsy decide together, and was taking some of the blame there. I appreciated the honesty because I'm with you, Phil. He should be accountable for those situational football on both sides of the ball, and to absolve blame for the head coach just because he's not an offensive coach, I don't co-sign on. Well, he put himself right in the firing line of that. So I appreciated that. And it is still a mark against him. But the one thing that it did make me worry about was, man, he sure is getting comfortable. And it seemed to me with some of the things he talked about with that and talking about his evaluation of Getsy when the season is over, sounds like a coach that thinks he's coming back next year.
And that's where I can't be. Yeah. That's why I can't root for this guy. I can't.
But let's go down this road, Phil. And I kind of talked to you about this, and Greg, maybe I talked to you about it too. But let's say, what is
this? Sorry, just star this and come back to it.
Oh yeah, let's just take 2 different avenues here, and what would be the best of the the bad scenarios. Having Flus, Fields, Getsy back, having Flus Getsy gone, Justin gone, a new OC, and if you have the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, or Flus, Getsy, and Caleb Williams. What would you be the most comfortable with?
You're asking me or Greg?
Anybody.
You have to start
what about the option of no Getsy, Flus, no Getsy, and Fields stay? Did you make that as an option?
No, I didn't, because I don't think that's.
You don't think that's.
I don't think that's. I don't.
And then the other option you didn't add was no Flus, no Getsy, no Fields. You didn't have that as an option either.
Yeah, I'm saying the word. To me, that's the best situation.
Right.
If you're going to clear the deck,
right. So the second best situation is Eberflus, no Getsy, Caleb Williams.
Right. So Phil, you more comfortable with Flus, a new OC, and Williams, or Flus, Getsy, and Caleb Williams?
Well, this is where people clip you and then say this is what you said.
Let them clip.
This is what I'm saying. I'm for a clean house.
Right.
But for the record, I want Eberflus gone, Getsy gone, Justin Fields traded. I want the first overall pick in Caleb Williams. That's where I am. You draft Caleb. You can't pass on this type of talent at quarterback.
Well, I was just on with Adam Rank and Carmi V, and he said, Adam Rank, so you're going to have to talk to your boy. He says hi, by the way. Gave you a nice few shout-outs on the show. And he said that he's heard that Eberflus is safe, and he's also heard of an OC that doesn't have head coaching experience that's being rumored as, I agree, right? Because that was where before he said that's where I thought he was going with it. But he said didn't have head coaching experience that's already being considered to take over as the offensive coordinator when the season's over. My thought immediately went to Greg Roman, and that's only because I've been wanting the Bears to hire Greg Roman for 3 years now.
But under that, wouldn't you think that Justin is back?
Not necessarily.
I would. If they bring in Greg Roman, I think Justin Fields is
that would totally lend itself.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair because he matches.
I just kicked Greg right square in the balls live on air.
Kicked him in the ball.
Ruin his.
And I'm gonna yell at Adam Rank when he comes on in a couple weeks because he's coming on in a couple weeks too. But the reality is, give me these choices again. So I would choose Getsy gone, Caleb Williams. Out of those two.
So you'd choose, no Getsy, Flus, and Williams.
I would choose Flus and Caleb Williams
with a new OC.
Yes. Okay. Even though that's like you're giving me the shittiest options on the menu here.
Yeah, and so just to address Jeff here, nobody here said that Justin Fields is terrible and can't play football, and
it's a hyperbole game.
Yeah,
like, I'm going to discredit your opinion or your preference by using.
Oh no! I'm not saying Jeff's not. I'm just saying we're not. Nobody up here. It's the situation. Phil and I take what we do very serious. I know Greg does too, and you're at the point where nobody. You have finances are a massive part of this, even though nobody wants to ever bring that into the fray.
They bring it up now,
but I listened to
it's almost like
30 seconds of a podcast today, and they're like, Justin's on his rookie contract for the next 2 years. No, he's not. He's not. That's not true. You have him for 20. You have to make your decision on the 5th year option, May 4th, 2024. Right after the draft. Exactly. And yes, it's not $50 million, but you're guaranteeing him around $25 million for 2025. And if you want to bring him back and pay him, and people are saying you're not going to have to pay him, Justin Fields is not going to take less than Daniel Jones got. Everybody here fucking knows that. If you think that, you have no idea who his agent is. David Mulata would never in a million fucking years. There's going to be teams lined up to trade for Justin. There's going to be.
And that's where you got to go with it. I mean, listen,
Under
have
that situation though, Phil, and it's critical. Cars and I talked about this on Cars.
money situation you're talking about.
When if you decide to move forward, you want to build and bring in ammunition around Justin, and you've made the decision. You're paying Justin. When Justin's big money kicks in 2026, at that point you're going to have an extension, most likely with Jalen Johnson in the fold. Like more and more people are, like Cap has said openly multiple times, and other people, that they're expecting a deal 100% to get done with Jalen Johnson. So you'd be looking at an extension with him,
Really?
and then you're going to have to make a decision what you want to do with Tevin. But if you move to 2026, you have DJ Moore due, you have TJ Edwards due, Kyler Gordon due, Jaquan Brisker due. Extensions when Justin's big money is going to kick in.
Right.
And that is a big, 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 if not the number one reason that this is what they're talking about. I'm not moving off Justin if they don't have a shot at Caleb Williams. That's me. Phil probably feels a different way. I don't know how Greg feels, but that's me. But if you have a shot at Caleb Williams, you take Caleb Williams, you trade Justin Fields to the highest bidder.
The thing I keep asking Bears fans, because it's just such a charged discussion and debate and argument, and it turns very toxic, and there's just fans just going at each other's throats, and you guys deal with it every day in your chat. We do as well. It's almost like the people in the chat aren't even listening to the show. They're just literally arguing with each other about this very topic. And the thing that I always just come to with every fan is, and I'll ask you guys this, do you trust Ryan Poles at this point? For what he's done so far with the Bears, do you trust him?
I don't trust him completely, no. But I also think that he's had some major whiffs, obviously, with Chase Claypool is a big one. I think he made a big error in the head coach. And I don't know if there's politics going on behind the scenes with all of that. If it's Trace Armstrong being involved and this is my guy and you're my guy, all of that bullshit. But I think we could definitely do a lot worse than Ryan Poles. I think that there's enough talent on this team in 2 full seasons with Ryan Poles that you can win. And look how many games that they were close, where realistically, let's just remove the historic losses. So then you're what, 8-6 right now?
Correct.
Pushing for the fucking playoffs.
Yep.
That to me is where it comes down to coaching malpractice.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
There is talent here when he's had 2 years. Yeah. And
I give Poles more credit for the defensive turnaround than I do Eberflus for bringing in Montez Sweat.
Yeah. And you think about the logistics of that after the Claypool trade. That's what make the pressure to consummate that trade after, that blowing up in your face completely with Chase Claypool.
Right.
That much more pressure. That is a big deal. And you know that you're over the barrel. Where Mike Lombardi had a point, you're over the barrel because you gave up a 2nd-round pick to pay this guy $100 million. The agent knows that. Montez Sweat knows that. You're going to have to open up the coffers.
Yep. And he got the deal done in 2 days.
Right. And there's enough talent here right now that it's not out of – guys, even with the historic losses, we could be playing for the playoffs if they wouldn't have blown that game last week.
Historically.
Technically, they still could be playing for the playoffs. They have an 8% chance to get to the final week of the season if they win out.
I'm 50% in trust with Poles. I think he's the lesser.
You guys are way
evil.
lower than me. I am fully on board with what Ryan Poles is doing. I love the way he operates.
I'm higher than 50%, but I'm not
at 50.
I'm
Because
not blind
the
faith
coaching
whatever he's
error.
going to do. Because
the coaching error is huge. The trade for Claypool.
If he
in
goes
that
out and
regard.
says Drake May is his guy, I'm gonna have a fucking problem with it. Big one.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah, I
one.
don't think that's going to happen. And I want to address something. I can't stand this. It infuriates me as a coach, as a player, to say that somebody is going to go and do the same thing as Justin Fields does because of this is the dumbest take you can have. What each game in and above itself. Now, say you play fantasy football, which a lot of this talk comes from, or say you play Madden. Have you ever played anybody in Madden and had the same outcome every time? This is football. So when you're looking and assessing player, it's like those people that say you can't draft quarterbacks from Alabama. They never win. You can't. That's if you scout and do things like that, you're completely a loser when it comes to any kind of analysis. So when I look at Caleb Williams 2 years ago, when he's at Oklahoma, I thought this kid is a superstar. Then he goes and wins the Heisman and shows checks every box that Bill Parcells has ever listed or Bill Walsh in regards to leadership, athleticism, ball accuracy, anticipation throw. Then this year, he doesn't win the Heisman. He has a shit defense and maybe one NFL prospect, Jerry Rice's kid at receiver. And he's going out there and threw 3 picks against Notre Dame, and people are writing him off. He had 5 picks on the year with that shitty team. And he threw for 3,600 yards. And let me just break it down for you. Every quarterback's going to have turnovers. Every quarterback can fumble. You can improve that. You cannot teach the throwing mechanics that this dude possesses. It's otherworldly. So no matter who's going to tell you what, I saw this with Patrick Mahomes, and we talked about it way back then. I was Deshaun Watson 100%, and there Patrick Mahomes was my number 2. And it was a boom or bust with Patrick Mahomes. Everybody said it.
I said on air, he's either going to put up PlayStation numbers or he'll be out of the league in 3 years. That's what I said about Patrick Mahomes live on air.
He got into the right organization. They embraced his talent. They built an offense with talent around that because he had the throwing mechanics and traits. He has the anticipation ability beyond. And the only guy, I hate to say this, is Aaron Rodgers. He fucking has the ability to throw a fucking ball from any angle, anticipate it, and put it in there accurately. So when I look at Caleb Williams, those are the things I say. Now, the painted nails, crying to his mom. You're going to find any kind of shit to go against him. You can't do it.
Guys, please stop putting this. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
This is made up bullshit. Caleb's father never came out and said Chicago can go fuck themselves. The only team he brought up was Arizona. People are making so much ownership, been proven that was bullshit. Oh, by the way, it's not even legal, but let's keep on talking about it. This shit here is not true. He never said that.
No.
But people are so deep into the thickets with this shit with Justin versus Caleb. If you're a Justin Fields fan and want him here, it resorts to the painting of the fingernails. He's a pussy because he cried in his mother's arms. He's a diva. All he does is fumbles. I mean, does Justin?
I will trade a tear for a quick release on time every day. You know who cried? Dan Marino cried.
If the Bears had Mike Glennon at quarterback right now, Bears fans would be defending Caleb Williams at every turn. I'll call your bluff all day. I know the game. I know the little tricks we're playing when we're trying to create narratives to justify our prediction or preference on what we want to do.
We had a guy come on and say that he's Ryan Leaf. Talking about Caleb Williams, I'm like, what the fuck? Where does that come from?
I will tell you this, Shane. Mahomes tape versus Caleb Williams tape. Caleb Williams. I mean, it's like I'm trying to think of like a great analogy of the unbelievable, and look at where Patrick Mahomes has gone. Caleb Williams is outstanding.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, obviously I'd love for him to be Mahomes. Everybody would be. And you see some of those, those off script throws that are very similar to his. I've heard people compare him to Kyler Murray. They both come from the same system and the same coach with Lincoln Riley. I see some comparisons there. Caleb's obviously a little bigger than Kyler Murray. Kyler's had success in the NFL individually, but not as a team, which is an interesting aspect going into this Arizona game because they were a team that moved off of Josh Rosen after 1 year to take Kyler Murray. So they were a team that cut bait, knew they didn't have their guy, took a quarterback. But to give the other side fuel that don't want Caleb Williams here, it didn't result in Arizona becoming a good team. They've been just as much of a losing franchise as the Bears the last few years. But at the end of the day, they didn't stop trying. I do like your Aaron Rodgers comp to an extent because I've got a video I've watched probably 100 times of Caleb Williams making a throw against Stanford where he does like a 8-step drop and bombs it from the 15-yard line all the way to the other 20-yard line on it, to quote Draft Dr. Phil, on a fucking dime, and hits this dude in stride for the touchdown. That's the kind of arm strength that gets scouts excited.
It's the strength,
scouts, quote unquote, blown away, like Ryan Poles said he needs to be if he's going to draft one of these guys.
Thank you for bringing that up. Blown away is what you look at. Like, I already have, and thank you, Chris Harold, at least 15 of his games. I mean, it's a highlight reel on a 7-yard out where he's just like, I talked to you about this, Greg, for 2 hours. I broke down Detroit, where people really thought Justin played great, and showed, no, there's some serious issues here. Whether the Bears have destroyed him, and that's your argument, which completely I agree with.
It's fair.
Or not, it's fair. Doesn't take away what he is now and where we are, right?
You can't turn the clocks back.
You can't turn it back. It ain't going to turn around. He's 6'4", athletic freak. And with an offense embracing his talents, I think you could win with him, no doubt. And that's where a change of scenery and these things that people you hear all the time was going to help him. But just watching him turn into a 5'11" quarterback, squatting down, the ball at his hip, winding up, trying to make a play, trying to scramble when it doesn't need to scramble. All these things are on the table. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not trying. I want to say, look at this throw. Look at this play. Look at how he read the two safeties and checked it down immediately. He's not doing any of that. So that's why you're forcing screen to take away from him having to see it and process it and find it. I got to see it open. I got to boot him out, give him 2-3 levels, and he's got to see. You can't win with that consistently if that's where you are going with your offense.
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
And you know how the echo chamber works, guys.
Carmi V's 100% wrong. I mean, if she's hearing league scout, they are not fucking close. Caleb Williams,
I like
and Drake,
May, but
they are
like
not close.
Daniels more than May, and Caleb. Again,
do you agree that Caleb Williams and Drake May are
Williams
not
is
close?
a generational fucking. I know people don't want to hear that. I'll say it differently then. Caleb Williams is the cleanest quarterback. I said this last year before this season. He's the cleanest quarterback. I would have traded I would have traded Justin last year. I said it during the draft coverage. You put it on me. If he was out, you take him. I say, take Caleb Williams. He's the cleanest I've seen in 15 years. Guess who else has said that? Rick Spielman. Guess who else has said it? My father.
Randy Mueller just said it.
Randy Mueller
just said it. Yesterday or 2 days ago on Hogan Johns, and
you don't get a shot at this shit. You don't.
How many teams have had
the
number
Jets
one
like
pick
to have
2 years in a
Dan
row?
Marino or Ken O'Brien?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, people are like, well, every year I'm starting to hear this. Every year they say there's a generational talent. Not the year Kenny Pickett came out. Kenny Pickett was drafted 18. Why wasn't any quarterback taken in the top 5 that year? Because they didn't have a quarterback to overhype because it didn't show up on tape. This guy would have been drafted number 1 last year if he had came out.
Without a doubt. So the Bears.
Right. So this is when you talk about Cam Newton or Andrew Luck or, Trevor Lawrence, like, this is the kind of echelon this dude is in. Does it guarantee greatness? No. Baldy was on with us today and said, well, he's going to have a coach that matches him up. I think we in Chicago understand that better than probably any fan base in the NFL. Of course, that goes hand in hand with the future success of Caleb Williams if he were to be here. But at the end of the day, to your guys' point, it's just an opportunity they won't be able to pass up. And it doesn't matter what you think could have been for Justin or what you think might be going forward. It's just one of those things that's going to be.
And I'm not comparing the two players between Mitch and Justin, but we did this already. We've been through this. Everybody sat here and said, when Mitch is gone, he's going to San Francisco, he's going to New England, and he's going to win Super Bowls. And then everybody, I remember Mike North coming out and saying, of course Pittsburgh would go after him. That's a stable organization there. And guess who Mitch is? Mitch is still Mitch. There might be a couple of high, and Justin's going to go someplace, and he's going to make amazing plays. And when it comes down to the little nuance where there's an issue in his game, when it's what Phil just told you, see it, rip it consistently, we're going to be saying the same thing in year 6, in year 7, and year 8. If he could just rip it more consistently. And that's the thing. I mean, and people are talking themselves into nonsense. I had somebody, who was it today? Oh, I was going back and forth with Johnny Centino, our guy, Phil, and talking about coaching. And, he was able to point out flaws with Justin, but and I'm not saying Johnny said this, but there's so many people that come out and say, oh, Caleb's holding the ball too long, just like Justin is. But there's a difference. Justin's holding the ball too long because that's what Justin does. Caleb is doing it because he doesn't have people around him that are even going. What's the highest pick? Going to be like a 4th or a 5th round pick from
Probably,
USC?
Yeah.
And you also see him throwing in structure and making in plays. And the lightning quick release, if you don't think just the release is going to make a massive difference, it's going to.
We've always talked about, listen, it's a passing league. You have to have that release. And it's important. And you have to be able to see it. These things aren't cliche. They're truth. The NFL's faster. The NFL's a hell of a lot faster. What's the difference? Oh, it's a hell of a lot faster. What is open in the NFL? A half yard.
Right.
Justin Fields has missed guys that are open 4 yards. Yeah. That's a problem.
Thank you, Frank, so much.
Thank you, Frank. With the first pick of the first round, Frank says for the podcast, the Chicago Bears select USC quarterback Caleb Williams. Welcome to Chicago. Let's fucking go. $100.
Well, and that's where, like,
thank you, Frank.
When Phil, you said earlier, well, this is where people are going to clip this and use it again. Like this whole conversation we're having right now. When they announced Justin Fields and the guy walked up to the podium and said, with the first pick, my Chicago Bears select It still puts chills down my spine because that's how much we all wanted that moment, and we cheered it.
Right.
And I like this is where you try like it becomes tribalism. Draw your line in the sand. What we're talking about right now means we don't like Justin Fields or don't root for Justin Fields, and that couldn't be more further from the truth. And if again, do you trust Ryan Poles? Yes, I do. And if he chooses to keep Justin Fields, I'm going to ride with what Ryan Poles decides. Right. If they want to trade back for 3 first-round picks and Max Crosby, I'm going to ride with what he decides. But at the end of the day, you're asking my prediction. You're asking what my preference would be. This all is contingent on them getting the number 1 pick, which also still isn't a guarantee. So everything we're talking about here is hypothetical, and it's nothing is locked in yet. But this is all we really have right now. We don't have a team that has playoff aspirations. We're trying to figure out what they'll do with the coach and the quarterback. So these are the conversations being had. And if you're so sensitive that you can't have it talked against the idea of Justin not being here next year, then you don't really believe in him anyway. If you got to go on a crusade every day on Bears Twitter to prove everyone wrong, then you don't actually believe in him because you're trying so hard to convince people. You're almost just trying to convince yourself.
Right.
I agree.
And this is what we're fighting right here. Bears wide receivers are not open. Well, original one, you have not watched a single second of all 22 tape. If that is your analysis, you're 100% lying to try to prove your point, which is wrong.
I'm not smart.
We're not here to make shit up. It's not what.
Are there plays that receivers aren't open? Of course. Welcome to the NFL. But to say they are not open as it's
just a lie
whole is a complete, utter fallacy.
The other thing with the Caleb Williams thing, and me and Shane have talked about it, I've talked about it with Hogan, a few guys. Whole
Kerry Franklin, $200.
Hell yeah, Kerry.
Merry Christmas, TTNL.
Thank you, Kerry.
They're down. Thank you so much, man. I love Kerry Franklin, man.
The other aspect of where this all unravels when it comes to talking about like trying to denigrate what Caleb Williams is capable of. Again, it's an echo chamber when it comes to narratives. You guys know that better than anybody.
And just stop, please. Please. Come on, man. I know you love him. Dude.
Well, you think this is bad? The Fields people will never give it up. I mean, never. If he goes anywhere else, they'll never give it up. It'll be worse.
What happened to him in the Buffalo offense? Why didn't they keep him, Grumpy?
Yeah. So,
I mean,
but the thing
I loved Mac Jones too. Mac Jones and Justin Fields' stories they're not over. That's the funny thing with this thing. They can always see where they're going. I'm sorry, Greg.
You're fine.
It bothers me because when you go to a situation, I'm here telling you. Who did I like number 1 in that draft, Shane?
In what year now?
In the Mac Jones Justin Fields draft. Who did I want number 1?
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
That was number 1. 1A is Trevor Lawrence.
So that's just people trying to say, "Oh,
saying.
Yeah," and it's never going to change. Like I said,
did I ever say Mac Jones was a generational talent and a must? No, trade up for Mac Jones. Nope.
Well, I mean, the best
how they
franchise in our lifetimes decided to draft Mac Jones too. By the way, so
exactly. Guess what? Mac Jones went in the first round. I can't play the game for them, and I can't coach them. As if you watched last week, as Matt Waldman made the great point, I didn't say anything about it, but they didn't do Mac Jones a lot of service there. If you want to say that here in Chicago, let's talk about a defensive coordinator being the offensive coordinator. We could go down that whole thing.
But
the reality is Caleb Williams is a completely different animal.
Right.
Completely different animal.
Right. He's on the Trevor Lawrence echelon.
Exactly.
And so
Andrew Luck
echelon. Right. So that's what I'm saying. To go back to this narrative where it's going to unravel for fans that try to denigrate and say he's not good enough. Wait till the people that break down the tape hardcore like you guys do, like these quarterback tape breakdown guys do, and where it becomes like everyone just starts repeating what the next person says when Dane Brugler says it, and then everyone starts saying it.
That's a shot, by the way, that Greg just did. But I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into
I hate when people do that.
I'll say it because Hogue and Carl, Hogue, Athletic.
People do that.
Hogue and John's on the Athletic, and Dane Brugler is part of the Athletic. So I said it last year. If I had to take a shot every time I heard the word Dane Brugler on our show, I'd be dead. I'd literally be dead. I'd be drinking this entire bottle in 15 seconds. But it is just one of those things that snowballs. We all understand this with the quarterbacks that have been drafted here.
Step up your game.
Yeah.
Some good bourbon.
Chubbs is throwing $2.
Deadling. Chubbs recommending some bourbon with Deadling. So to me, going back to this point, and I'll make it quickly, is it's going to unravel when they break down the full tape of what he's done over the last 3 years. And specifically, and I said this to Hogue, I said this to Shane, because I've watched every fucking game of his this year, knowing there was a possibility we were going to draft him. His incompletions, the throws that you don't see on the highlight reel, the throws that don't show up on the stat sheet are some of his most impressive throws. And so for fans that really haven't watched everything, they're going to find this out very quickly here this offseason when they see the full breakdown of what this guy is capable of. So I've kind of laughed at people trying to pick every nit to pick this kid apart because they don't want him here to replace their darling quarterback. Hey, we all wanted it to work out for Justin Fields. We all wanted to walk off into the sunset with Marvin Harrison Jr., and at the end of the day, if that's what pulls the sides, I'll ride with it. But more than likely, and I've been trying to get Bears fans to brace for this moment, if they have the number 1 pick, if you're a big Justin Fields fan, just brace yourselves and just learn to either let it go or move on with Justin Fields to the next team. I don't know what else to tell you.
Listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think I've said this since TTNL existed. You're a fan of the jersey first. This modern day, and I'm telling you, my guy, I don't know if he's in the chat, DG Daniels, one of our patrons, one of our super fans, he said it. This modern day fantasy football forum where fans get so attached to players and kind of miss the microcosm of the team, this has become a what do you call it? Pitchforks and what do you call it? Pitchforks and freaking fireball, whatever. Molotov. Everybody's attacking everybody. At the end of the day, the jersey is what it stands for the Bears. And Justin Fields, his record, his moments in critical situations, all of this elicit things that need to continue to be worked on. There's no consistency there. So if you're blaming the Bears and you have an argument to be made, you can't go back. So you have to go forward and find a quarterback that's going to create a turnaround and never, ever throw a player on the team's words at me when it comes to analyzing their teammate. Because what do you think they're going to fucking say?
The other
Justin
aspect of it
sucks. Get rid of him.
But this is the point right here, Phil. So look at it, and I'm going to
What?
Javon says, watch Caleb versus Tulane. I like Caleb, but he has issues. So I brought it up. This is Caleb Williams versus Tulane. Okay. 37 of 52, 462 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Probably not a real great game for you to point out, Javon. And especially, yes, they ended up, they lost the game. And what was it, 46-45? Tulane won.
Right.
But it's the same thing. It's a USC
team sport.
Exactly.
Eli Manning.
But this is the point I'll make, though, when it comes to this. And this is something I've always tried to talk to different people about that are like in tune to the game on another level. And Phil, you're one of these guys. Shane, you're one of these guys. if a fan wants to root in that way and they're just loyal to the player, loyal, and like not every fan is gonna be the GM type fan or the coach type fan, or like some fans just want to turn on the game on Sunday, root for the team. They don't worry about all that other stuff, and that's okay. But where I draw the line is if that's the type of fan you are, you just want to be passionate for your player, you have an emotional attachment on another level for a player because of different reasons, that's fine. You're allowed to be that type of fan, but don't start twisting yourself into a pretzel and do mental gymnastics to make a case against other rationalization because of that feeling you have. Like, stay in that emotional fan lane, but once you start to come out of it and start saying, well, this and fuck Caleb because of this and that, that's where I start to push back. I don't have a problem with fans that don't want to be, overly educated on the game or the right moves to make as a GM or the right plays to call as a coach. You just want to enjoy the game as a fan of the Bears. That's fine. But it's when you start doing the mental gymnastics where you're going to get the pushback when you put your opinions out there like that.
Right. And just, yes, Tulane came back. He doesn't play defense. Caleb Williams is a quarterback. What are we doing? I mean,
he's a Tulane fan, bro.
But this is what I'm saying.
What?
So Caleb's being held accountable because USC's defense let Tulane come back? They put up 45 points and he had 5 touchdown passes.
I mean, the whole thing's laughable.
Tom Brady didn't start at Michigan.
The whole college talk is laughable.
Until you shit in your hat and get the hell off the field.
The whole thing's laughable because he's a Heisman Trophy winner, 1. 2, if you put him on Ohio State's team when Justin Fields was there with 3 first-round wide receivers and the offensive line they had playing in the Big Ten, like, you think that Ohio State didn't play cupcake teams like Tulane? They did. Okay, the Big Ten ain't some juggernaut. They have some good teams, and then there's some pitiful teams. So, like, come on, like, if you're gonna operate on just basing off the college tape, put any of these quarterbacks in Ohio State's situation and watch them tear it up.
That's the thing. You have to listen. Not everybody, like you said, wants to
Matt
fan
Walton
like that.
said when he was at Ohio State, even with the spectacular numbers he had, he still had questions about his ability to get the ball out on time and in rhythm. And that's with all the amazing.
We all had that.
Every person that
I
we
said
had
it
on,
when we went on.
We said it ourselves. You can ask Adam Hogue. I remember Adam Hogue saying it. If there's one flaw, it's if we could just get that processing a tick faster. And it's the number one issue.
What? If it was an
right
issue
now,
then, and it's still an issue now, you fans that I agree 100%. Like, fan the way you're going to. Just don't attack people that are different than you. I don't go out there and search for people saying Justin's great and he's undefeated and this, that, and the other, whatever they're going to say,
even
and
come
start
down
attacking to you.
This is the
It's
thing.
ridiculous.
It's not even coming down to, at the end of the day, it's not even coming down to talent. When you think about it, you have Caleb Williams, who's very, very talented, but we have to pay Justin.
Well, that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, as they say. And I agree with you. That's the argument. Mic drop. Bill Wagner, $25 tonight on the special Christmas episode with Greg Braggs of CHGO with us, joining us. He's always been family. He's got his maker's mark. I remember going into the stadium. Crown. Going into the stadium. It was actually Jack Daniels, right?
Yeah.
That day.
I got Jack.
Me and you.
Yeah,
Greg just starts chugging it because he's like, dude, the security guard is not
backup Jack bottle.
He starts jacking it down, and we leave it behind what did we leave it? Like behind a garbage can for later?
Yeah. I left it in one of the trees, one of the pine trees.
Yeah, the tree. We tried to hide it with leaves.
Yeah.
I'm getting serious Charles Dickens Christmas Carol vibes from tonight's panel. Braggs is the ghost of Christmas past in his Ditka shirt and a happy hat. DDP is the Xmas present, and Shane is Christmas future present. I'm the present. I got you. And Shane is Christmas
I'm
future.
the past. You're the present.
Happy holidays, everybody.
That makes
That's
Claudio
from
the barber,
Bill Wagner.
right?
That's it. Yep. The barber. They all needed barbers, right?
Yes, they did. Or they
So-
wore a wig.
So this is an interesting question here. I wanted to bring this up since obviously we're talking hypothetical. We have the number 1 pick, but let's say we don't get the number 1 pick,
So
and we have the number 2 pick.
if you have the number 2 pick, I'm selling to whoever wants Drake, man.
We have the number 2 pick.
So you're not okay. Wait, so you're not Marvin Harris Jr. You're not going Marvin.
If we
Harris.
have the number 2
Really?
pick, I'm going to
Okay.
take this bottle and I'm going to drive my car into Lake Michigan.
That does not help the Bears. It's
Can't do that in Indiana because there's no
videotape
fucking
it.
lake.
That's called good content, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be my final video.
Hold on,
later.
Can we live stream that?
Yes, it'll be my final video.
That would be amazing.
Okay,
bro.
so
Drags in the stands will find
Carrie Franklin jumped
Drags in
cold
the
water.
drags in the lake.
Drags in the
Can
lake.
you jump in the cold lake? Would you do it?
Do that. Well, they do that every year, the polar plunge.
Yes.
And I've had people try to challenge me to do that. I don't know, man.
Dude,
That's
that
a,
would
that's
be
a, that's a
great.
real shock to the system.
on.
jumping
Remember,
in
he
that
chickened
cold
out. He backed out of the hot Cheeto chip or whatever.
Yeah.
challenge.
water. Yeah.
We
I
had
don't
it
want a
set up.
fucking heart
Shane was
attack.
buying it. You didn't want to do it,
No.
and Angelo was going to do it with you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we got to do that. You can do that. Can you?
no, I'm not. We don't gotta do that. Make Angelo do that shit.
He won't come. He wants too much money.
We haven't seen him. We haven't
Smart
seen
man.
him.
What if it's
Sure.
you versus Carm?
I like I said, it scares me to take these kind of chips.
What about if they're? I can get you
Listen,
the gummies.
That chip. I took a quarter, like a corner of one of those chips.
Fuck that.
And I
You
was
did?
like- I did. Yeah, my daughter brought one home one time, and I was like, yeah, I'll try a little. And I tried like a corner of it. No, it's just not worth it. If you paid me enough money to do it, maybe. Doing it for free, fuck that.
There was one Mexican dude that did it on YouTube, and it didn't even fucking phase him. He just he mowed right through it. He's like,
built different.
Fine. I'm like, dude,
How do you do that?
it had to
I
ruin
can't
his
even
plumbing
think
in
about
his,
it.
it had to ruin the plumbing in his house after that ran through him. I mean, holy shit, no way.
So
couldn't do
real
either.
quick, I just want to get. So Shane, you think we trade it? Phil, what do you think we do with the number?
If I
2?
had the number 2 pick, if it's me, I'm selling out to whoever
selling,
wants
okay.
the quarterback.
Phil,
Yeah.
what do you think we do with the number 2 pick?
Well, what would polls do, or what would I do?
You.
What do you think?
I
should
would-
do? Yeah.
Phil's trying to buy himself time.
No, I'm asking.
Well, it is layered.
Are you
What
asking
would do
me?
what
Yeah,
Paul
Yeah, because
would
you
do.
guys are you're saying unanimous. You're saying Phil at number 1. You think we should take? Caleb
I
Williams.
would draft Caleb Williams and
Exactly.
trade.
So
I'm
there's
coming from there.
obviously a possibility.
No, if
we
you
don't
have
get
the number 2 pick,
So
So
we,
if I have the number 2 pick,
Caleb
I'm
goes one.
picking Marvin Harrison Jr. at that point. That's what I would do if I was the GM.
What if somebody?
Then I already have another
What
pick.
if somebody
coming.
offered you a loot to come up
Well,
for Drake
you'd have
May?
to tell me what the loot is.
So you got to move down to 6 or 7. You got 2 1s and 2 2s.
2 1s and 2 2s, and I'm moving to where?
Down to like
6 or
5
7
or
with
6.
the Raiders.
6 or 7.
And where are we drafting in this scenario? Where are we drafting right now? Do you guys know?
You're moving from
One.
2 to
You're
6.
at number 1 and number 5 right now.
We have the 5th. That's what I wanted to ask. So now I
So
go
yeah,
to
so let's just say you come out of the deal. If you trade down from 2, you're picking 5th and you're picking 6th.
and I get 2 1s and 2 2s to move
You
down.
have to make that trade.
Yep.
It would be tough not to make
Well,
that
the
trade.
reason you'd have to take that trade is because
I
if
would
you're
take
gonna because if you keep Justin Fields, which I'm fine with, but then you also draft Marvin Harrison Jr., you are pushing your chips a little further in on Fields for the 5th-year option, but you are completely doubling down by drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. because you've now lost any kind of future draft equity because now you're just down to your own first-round pick
You can
for
still
years
take,
to come.
you want a wide receiver, you can still take Neighbors
Right.
there.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But what you could do is
you could trade the fifth. You could trade the fifth.
Well, but what you could, yes, you could, because Jaden Daniels might move up just like every quarterback does every year, or most years.
I like Jaden Daniels.
Right. So
that would be my
quarterbacks
plan.
could fall into that second pick for sure. But the other reason you do it though for the trade back is obviously you're adding a bunch of draft equity, but you're also putting yourself back into a potential derby for future years. Because just like this year, we traded with Carolina. Did any of us think that Carolina was going to be the number one pick? No, but you gave yourself a shot. So if you trade back with the Raiders or the Falcons or whoever, the Steelers, whoever you want to pick, you're now giving yourself an opportunity for that pick to be back in the top 5 in future years. And if Justin doesn't work out, who's somebody you've ran it back with, now you give yourself a little room for error, because the Bears pick, it's just starting to look like with the way they're playing now that your pick is not going to be in the top 10 in future years. So to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm not going to not be excited if they draft a talent like that. But man, it's almost kind of like when they traded for Khalil Mack. You're all in some ways pushing all your chips in on Justin Fields when you do a move like that.
So Brad, what's your move at 2 then?
I would trade it back. As much as it will kill me to not have Marvin Harrison Jr. on this team. I will literally cry if we're sitting at 2.
I mean,
I get it, but like Shane said, Malik Neighbors has Odell Beckham Jr. comps, and as much as I love Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm sorry, if somebody's going to offer a haul for a quarterback in Drake May, I got to move back, and it will pay me.
The caveat where strategy comes in, because if you believe the Bears are moving off Justin Fields, then you're getting a haul there, and you don't have Drake May, so where you rank them, but you really like Jaden Daniels, then you could take Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 2nd, Jaden Daniels with the 5th. And then you're talking about a complete makeover again there. And I'll tell you what, Daniels, I don't care what people are saying about his size, skinny. I've seen Jake Plummer, Eli Manning, all of the Jared Goff, for God's sake. Is there a bigger skinny pussy out there than him? And Jaden is 20 times the competitor toughness that he is. So, and again, Bryce Young has held up so far in this league with his size. So
Eli's 218 pounds, though, Phil.
Well, when he was coming out, he was very thin. He was like 199 pounds. Eli Manning. Yeah. That was one of the knocks, that he was too thin, that he had to get stronger. Same with Tom Brady. Tom Brady coming out. But again, you could get bigger.
You weighed in at the combine at 221.
Eli?
Yeah. I don't ever remember him being skinny.
Maybe he put on weight for the combine.
Yeah.
Answer this one. Ranger Bear, 499. Holy crap, fellas. Been ran all week. Talk about emotional. You're wrong about Caleb Williams. He's weak mentally. That'll never work in the NFL.
Okay. Let me ask Ranger Bear, if you're still there. Thank you for the super chat. Put in the comments how he's weak mentally, and don't come back with him crying with his mom, because none of us here believe that's what
he
mentally
has to be talking about.
Yeah, but okay, so I think that's fucking
the narrative
bullshit.
is that
right. So go ahead, tell me where he's weak mentally.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that too. I don't see that at all, honestly. And everybody forgets about Oklahoma, what he did there.
Yeah. Well, that game he cried in, wasn't that pretty much the game they lost that pretty much stopped them from, having a chance at a playoff, pretty much? Right?
I have no issue with him showing
in the cold water.
What was the circumstances of that? Because I remember watching it, but I didn't know.
No, that was the end of him having a chance of winning the Heisman or even being in any semblance of a college football playoff.
Yeah. So that
God damn.
Oh shit! Damn.
What is this? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
You know how much Otani made
What is
just
this?
from that 1 second of him being on the fucking?
Yeah, but he just
That was like
deferred. He just deferred
$1,000
99% of it.
$1,000.
Poor Cubs couldn't afford $2 million a year.
Now going back to David Kaplan, this is news to me about Mike Tomlin being available for the Bears. Is this something he's talking?
You're gonna have to text Cap. Yeah, I guess he said it this morning on the air. If that's true, that's certainly interesting.
Let me text him right now. Are you
I
text
believe
him?
He's doing.
Is he doing something? Because I don't want
so.
to interrupt him like I do Greg sometimes.
Yeah.
Send him
like,
the link.
fuck.
Should we tell Greg that we both laugh about that? We're like, oh, Greg's on there. Let's call him.
You know these motherfuckers.
No,
They'll literally call me right when we go live.
They have no
My
idea.
thing is, if you traded for Mike Tomlin, I would almost.
Why would you have to trade for him? They're gonna fire him, right? In that scenario.
I don't know. I gotta
wait.
Well, anyways, I think if Mike Tomlin was your head coach, I would venture to bet that Justin Fields is your quarterback.
Well, I have no idea, to be perfectly
He's
honest.
a big
Drew Black saying he said it with Olin and Waddle last night that Mike Tomlin's on the table.
He said it, or he's like, what if?
I don't know. Ask Drew Black. So interesting. I mean, I like that Belichick, Tomlin, Jim Harbaugh, like there's potential coaches of
Belichick, Tomlin, Harbaugh.
Just real quick, this is Ranger Bear's excuse for him being weak mentally. I did say that. I said that's bullshit, and he shouldn't do that. That isn't.
That's also
something.
That's something you would. Year-old kid.
Well, he's 20. He's 22.
20.
But yeah.
He's
you
still
address
a
that with the kid. I'm not putting him in the fucking corner and saying he's weak mentally because he made a dumb mistake. I never said he's weak mental. I said I had a problem with that. Yeah. If I'm the GM of the team or the head coach of the team, I go to Caleb and I'm like, that's never fucking happening again.
This is the game. Me and Chris Zorich, we had just kicked off. That was the inaugural season of the Super 16 poll show.
Yep.
With Chris Zorich. I'm sure he's watching right now, right, Chris, in the chat? That game, I remember me and Zorich text, like, Zorich, like, who the fuck is this kid? I go, right? There's no way they could put this motherfucking Rattler back. This kid is just, I mean, it showed up right away, like the natural leader.
Well, the first play he ran as he replaced Rattler or came in for one play, he ran for a 70-yard touchdown. 71-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Then they put Rattler back in. We actually talked about this today on the show, ironically enough. Yeah, because Hogue's starting to branch off of the Utah because he had scouts tell him to watch the Utah Notre Dame game where he didn't play well, but those are more NFL-type defenses. So now he's starting to build out from there to the other games, and he started with game 1, which is Oklahoma versus Texas, his first ever game. So we talked about it, and he said,
there you go.
71-yard touchdown right out the gate. They just brought him in for a spot. Then they put Rattler back in. He throws another pick. So then they take him out for the rest of the game, and Caleb Williams leads Oklahoma back. And they were down big, so
all the way back.
All the way back for the win.
You could just see the energy. I mean, bro, I have never been more. I get so fired up because I want this team to win. I want the Chicago Bears. I want this fan base. You're never going to be liked by everybody. Your fans are never going to be in unity. But I want there to at least be 85%.
And that game was 3 years ago. When the Bears drafted Mitch, the knock was he'd only played 1 year, 13 games. This guy has 3 years of tape that we're going to be breaking down. Like, this is just another level,
but
guys.
He's a pussy, Greg. He cried in his mom's arms.
If fans want to lean on that as a big red flag, I'm not going to fight you on it. That's something they're going to have to evaluate.
That's what they're leaning on because they're Justin Fields. They don't want Justin replaced.
Yeah, but it's still fair to talk about because when you talk about Caleb Williams or Drake May coming into this situation, it's a lot of pressure. You're talking about the the quarterback curse in Chicago has taken over the Cubs curse of a 108-year World Series drought. It's a heavy crown to try to wear, to be the quarterback, to follow all these busts of 25 years here in Chicago. Never mind the fact that you're replacing a beloved quarterback that fans are already like firing up their pitchforks and axes to kill the next quarterback in line for how dare you replace him. It's Derrick Rose level when players tried to wear Derrick's number after he was gone from here, and fans would rip them apart for how dare you ever try to wear Derrick Rose's number. That's kind of what this is like with the pressure. So never mind the media and fan pressure that's already built in with being on the Chicago Bears. So there is a lot of pressure to play here and succeed. And looking at their maturity, looking at the way they handle pressure through the media is important, but it's also about how you handle pressure in the huddle when you drop back after the snap. And when you talk about Justin Fields, does he handle pressure well through the media? 100%. Does he handle pressure well when it's in his face? When he's dropping back,
balls up in the air.
that's what I'm saying. That game that Caleb Williams was.
That's two different types of pressure.
He played his heart out in that fucking game, dude.
Yeah,
he played
football is an emotional game. I've always said
and
this.
So he obviously, I don't see how him crying with his mom.
Look how emotional we get as fans.
Yeah,
imagine when you have
asshole that throws his helmet down, starts slamming. Give me the guy that cries, because I'll tell you, it matters to that guy. It matters to that guy. Guy that's slamming.
I agree. I mean, the media thing is an issue. I agree with Shane. That's an issue. You gotta just listen. You gotta talk to the media, whether you don't want to or not. You're the quarterback.
You'll grow
you have
into
to fucking talk to the media.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
Give our guy credit because he's still hanging on there. Trumpy Bears.
Oh, wow. Damn.
He was like the seventh alternate, but that's
I think Grumpy's the only guy that ordered a
he was the Dwight Schrute of the Pro Bowl.
He was the
regional manager.
Oh my God.
How about $2 from Grumpy? How about Dave Tobe? Dave Tobe. I would interview him. Definitely.
Oh, I think you interview him. I think it's very, very interesting. And what I have heard about Dave Tobe is where he's turned people off in the hiring process.
Here's the quote.
What his plan was on offense.
Here's Cap's quote. I'm sorry, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Black writes, if he hit the market, someone I trust said to me, money will not be an object if Mike Tomlin hit the market. The Bears would do all they could to get him. That's
if that is true,
yes,
then you look into listen. So what did Sean Payton get traded for?
I don't even know the compensation that was there.
Was it a second round draft pick? I can't even remember what it was. Maybe somebody in the
audio
chat
left. He could have checked for us.
Oh boy.
What about Jackal? I mean, he doesn't do shit.
Jackal don't do shit, bro.
We got a guy down here.
He's cutting trees down. He's out in the wilderness. It looks like.
Is this Tyson Bagent? Who is it? Oh, it's Carm.
What's up,
fellas? How are you?
How are you? Are you cutting Christmas trees for the Braggs family? What are you doing?
No, I'm walking into the United Center to go tell LeBron he ain't Mike.
Yes.
So I don't have much time. I'm going to get frisked by media personnel walking through here. But Braggs wanted me to jump on. I appreciate you guys letting me buzz on in here. Tyson Bagent for life, 2-2, best quarterback ever. It's true.
Well, I wanted to introduce you to these guys. Eventually, you'll have to come on and meet these guys officially. But I figure you could chop on and say hi. But we appreciate you fighting the good fight for Mike.
Yeah, this is well, we got a real good fight right now because the door is locked, so I might not be able to get in. Oh, there we go. There she is. Hi, how are you? I do.
Big Hollywood Carm over here.
Do what Greg does. Get your pass out.
Ask them if they know who Greg Braggs is.
Didn't Greg use your pass to get in at training camp?
Look at we're going through United.
We're going
We're going
through
through
security.
United Center security right now here.
They're gone. Huh? I have the season pass, but I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I know. Maybe I'll just be Brian's code.
Let me talk to this lady.
Do
Do you know who this is?
I love you guys. Have a great show.
Goodbye,
See you,
Mark
Carmen.
Carmen.
Thanks, man.
That's Mark
All right,
Carmen.
Carm. God bless you. Are you ready? There he
I'll
is.
figure it out. There it is.
Now he's back.
He's back.
What do
Carm.
you-
Oh,
he's gone.
We lost him.
I'm glad I work with him because he makes me look normal. So it's much needed. If it wasn't for Carm, I'd probably get more arrows my way, but luckily Carm takes all the arrows, so it's nice.
Also, Bill's got it here before we go back to the carries. It was a first and a second for Peyton. Broncos gave them back. Yeah,
I would never give that
No
kind
way.
of deal for a coach.
No,
Fuck.
me neither.
Wow. First and second. I didn't know that.
You could talk me into like if I had to flip them myself.
I would give
next
them a
year
first.
because
the
you had-
Broncos 2023 first round pick was the 29th overall.
Yeah.
So that's a little different than
I would give them that first for Mike Tomlin.
one of the Bears first. One of their
Yes.
no fucking
Yes.
way.
I can't live with this. I can't live in life watching the Chicago Bears.
What if they
be
told you
run
they
by
wanted the
frauds.
number one overall pick?
No, I'd give them my other first.
No,
I would do that
wouldn't do it.
for Mike Tomlin.
Hell no.
I know that the most important position in this whole NFL thing is the head coach. The Bears have had the choir boy crew. They've had the guys that go to church with Virginia and George. They play nice. They make microwave popcorn if they're asked. They do everything. They make sure it's not burnt.
Can
They
you
do
trade
everything right.
players?
Would I trade a player?
Can you? I wonder. Is that even
I
legal?
don't know. We've asked that
Sure,
before.
if you can trade picks, I'm sure you can trade players.
We got to get.
If you get the number one pick, you trade Fields to Pittsburgh for Tomlin. Then
I would do
keep all
that.
your picks.
100%. It wouldn't
Then
even
you get Trubisky back. You sign him to a 10-year deal. Grumpy Bears excited again.
Grumpy Bear puts on his Trubisky
Pro Bowl jersey.
footy pajamas.
Kerry Franklin's super chat question.
Kerry,
I want to get this off the Matt Eberflus stays shit is what I'm fighting no matter what. This
My
coach
gut right now
has
is
to
in
go.
they totally fucking
They just
come
had
out. I
they
know.
had the most historic loss again.
But go around the room. Greg, what is your before we play Arizona and Atlanta?
Yep.
In Green Bay. What is your gut on Flus? My gut is he's back. That's my gut feeling.
Oh my
So
god.
Not what I would do.
If they lose 2 of 3, that only puts
No,
them
but
at
right now, before
right now, if you had to make me guess right now, Eberflus is back. But I do think these last sorry, Phil, it's the truth. And I don't want to
that's not what we want. We're just saying gut feeling.
Right. It's not about what we would do. It's about what I think is going to happen.
Layup here.
So now if they lose 2 of 3, then I could see this pendulum switching. If they win 2 of 3, it's
You
over.
can't go out and lose to Atlanta in Arizona in Chicago.
Well, I mean, I think the bigger aspect
Arizona's here, correct?
So let's
is Atlanta.
Let's say,
is Atlanta.
Let's say they
Why is it at 4, Greg? For fuck's sake.
Yeah,
what is what?
It's
why is the fucking game at 4 o'clock?
Oh, trust me, I'm fucking pissed off about it too because I have to miss our family Christmas party that we go to every year about this.
God.
So, if they win 2 or 3, the thing that's interesting to me is if they were to split these next 2 games, then I think it does come down to that Green Bay game. They lose to Green Bay, he's gone. But I know that's wrong. But you know how the McCaskies operate.
Then let's get into this.
Stupid, but
let's get into this. Then,
I am saying he's gone. Like they have to know
But is
That's how
that
this
your
is-
want, or is
No.
that what your
No,
gut?
this is what my gut says. There's no way to ignore. Let me read these stats out real quick, Shane. There's no way to ignore the worst coach in Chicago Bear history, right? There's no way to ignore 3 games with a win probability of 98.1% and lose all 3 of them. All three of those games. No team since 2015 with 3+ sacks, 3 interceptions, and a pick 6, mind you, had ever lost until the Chicago Bears. I've never watched a team since circa Matt Nagy be so undisciplined on the offensive line, not know their assignments, not have a fucking clue or identity in year 3 or year 2 like the Chicago Bears. You're a utterless ship in regards to coaching. To keep this guy is a fucking joke. It's a joke. He is the worst, the worst of all time. And I think every fan should stand in unison and saying there's no fucking way. Just when you're starting to hear that wave of maybe they can make the playoffs. This defense is playing better. Hold on, let me get my Mark Wahlberg voice on.
Yeah, and then you give up
Maybe they can make the
212
playoffs.
passing yards to Joe Flacco in the 4th quarter.
Such bullshit, man. We should be in a playoff hunt right now.
And the coach prevented you from that.
And at least he admitted it on the 3rd and 15 and the failure of that play call to have Justin Jones one-on-one with the tight end. I mean, that's unforgivable. He admitted it. And if you listen to the players in the locker room afterwards, they were pissed off about that play call. Pissed off. So what you got to hope, Phil, is that we have 2 more games just like that, where that he makes calls so fucking stupid that the players are so mad that trickles back to the front office and Poles and Kevin Warren and swings the pendulum back the other way, because the progress they're making on defense is undeniable. They have the 2nd most interceptions in the NFL, and they've gotten most of those off the back of Montez Sweat's arrival with his 6.5 sacks with the Bears. So
let's talk about this. The Browns played 1 starter on offensive line. Great. The Shane and Cars, myself, and I believe Ryan Cox, other people have brought up this point. We brought it up to Hoodie, who poo-pooed it earlier. But if you look at Matt Eberflus's wins, they've all came from backup quarterbacks or journeyman quarterbacks. A guy that signed off the fucking street, went out there in the 4th quarter against this vaunted defense. Second, they have all these interceptions. They fucking got yoked up, smacked up, and bitch slapped as they walked out of that fucking stadium. There's no story that a stat is going to tell me except these records of complete and utter discombobulation here. Just destruction. This guy is the worst coach we've ever had.
Well, Phil, let Greg talk about what Justin Jones said on that pass to the tight end in Cleveland when they dropped them in coverage.
All right. Well, you keep talking, and I'll pull up the exact quote so I don't even.
This is damning.
Yep.
This is damning big time, because, and I mean,
critical situation.
Flus even said that he needs to make a better call there. But for this to be such a critical down, and then what Greg is going to read you is kind of the cherry on top. So, Greg, go ahead.
What was his name? The Jets coach. He came over from the Eagles, Shane. Rich Kotite.
Yeah.
This is Rich Kotite bad.
Yeah, this is
So
bad.
Our sharpshooter reporter, Nick Moriano, got to give him a lot of credit here. He's been doing a great job this year, you guys. And he asked, if you're coming to, you better be getting loud. You better be getting loud. He said, I asked Justin, this was immediately following the game in the Cleveland locker room. I asked Justin Jones about the 2 plays when he dropped back in coverage, and he said, and I quote Justin Jones, "I'm just doing what the play call is. Maybe I could have seen him, what he was doing. I probably could have got back a little more. I don't know. Probably play his low hip in that route. Maybe got a pass breakup. I could have got a little deeper in my drop, sat under it or something. It's not what I practice." And then Nick followed up and said, "How many times have you practiced dropping back leading up to this game?" And he said, "I couldn't tell you, brother."
That right there you're the most critical down of the year. That's what Matt Eberflus wanted to rely on Justin Jones versus David Njoku. And David Njoku, when he was interviewed about it, he said, when we broke the huddle and I looked out there to see how they were lining up, I said to myself, ball game. It's over. He knew it.
We've been down this road with this team, always losing in the critical moments under Matt Eberflus. I want consistency. That's the consistent thing. Yeah, you could beat fucking
the thing.
Brian Hoyer.
You can't put Justin Jones in
Never
that.
put it on him.
So fucking moronic. It's not even funny. When you consider
had 10 catches, and Njoku had 10 catches that game. You're relying on your defensive tackle to drop in.
I mean, it was laughable to watch Justin Jones chase him down the sidelines 40 yards downfield. It was laughable.
Phil, do you remember when we watched it live? I'm like,
you were live watching this.
Justin Jones. They're dropping Justin Jones. I screamed it out, and I'm like, come on.
It's like the Bears putting fucking...
They used to drop Khalil Mack.
No, it's like, yeah, that's just... Exactly. We're in the same market of dumb shit. Like, it's like not having
overthinking it.
On
Your
3rd and
4 had
17.
been getting home, and you choose to get tricky. He's talking about tricks up his sleeve a few games ago, and that's the trick he had up his sleeve was that dumb shit.
I'll tell you what, I will not accept. I don't give a fuck if they win 2 out of the next 3, whatever. You fucking can't bring this guy back. I'm fucking done.
I agree, and I hope that Ryan pulled
dumbass polls. I would fucking destroy this.
Great point by Scott Hopkins. Eberflus, the DC in critical moments. Jones in coverage in Cleveland.
Exactly.
Sweat on the bench in Detroit.
Exactly, Scott. This is this dumb shit. Oh yeah,
the Amari Cooper touchdown.
How about
Sweat
this?
Was not on the field.
How about this one, Shane? We pointed out a few weeks ago, and I don't want fans to forget it. Your GM in a pregame show is talking to the head coach. Hey, you might want to play your best players in big situations. Well, here we go again. Let's put a fucking 3-tech that really isn't a 3-tech on a dropping in a tight end. Like, what are we doing?
And he's also responsible for these situational play calls on offense, which he's alluded to today.
Exactly.
The other thing I think he should be held responsible for is you want to make Getsy the scapegoat after the year, keep Eberflus and replace Getsy. You could have fired Getsy after week 4.
Exactly.
The Bills fired their offensive
but he
coordinator.
He didn't want to lose a third coach. He didn't want to lose a third coach in 3 weeks, Greg, because 2 of the coaches HR violations on your staff is a Flus problem.
Right.
Put that out there.
That is actually a fair point the other way, though, Shane, because there was a lot of shit going on. But at the end of the day, had you been more sharp and said, Getsy, you're gone. Janako, you're calling plays, you might not have lost a couple of these games here in the end of the season. You don't know. You'll never know because you didn't do it. These other teams who are in playoff races have had the temerity to get rid of guys. Do you think the Bears at 9-3, like the Eagles were, would ever change coaches on a coaching staff? Hell no. They'd be satisfied with that win record. But the good teams, the great teams, are striving for greater. And while Matt Eberflus has created progress on the defensive side of the ball, it should not be good enough at the end of the day. And that's what I said at the end of the Cleveland game. Yes, Justin Fields has shown progression from his first 17 games to his last 17 games. Yes, the defense is getting better. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It wasn't good enough to beat Cleveland, and it's not good enough to keep them going after the year. That doesn't mean there isn't signs of life from them. It just means we can do better, and our standard could be higher for not just us as Bears fans, but for Ryan Poles as the GM.
No, for the Chicago Bears, the standards should be higher.
Yes,
Greg, and I'm proud of you for speaking so eloquently like that, because
you're a great man.
You're
the
great.
best man. The best man.
You're probably one of the best people I know. In fact, you wouldn't even be sitting on CHGO if it wasn't for me. But anyway, we're talking about this, Ryan Billings, and thank you for the $5. Thoughts on the idea of Janico calling plays for a few games. Janico, Vambaco, the outcome he could have on the move. Yes, this is a head coach's problem. We wish that shit would have happened by week 4 after the putrid that we saw, and it didn't happen. Then after the bye, we were hoping maybe that would happen. It didn't. Getsy is what we all thought he was, and he's terrible. Situational, but it's on the head coach.
40-inch dick.
Why you build his resume here and you show it for what it is, and you get rid of this shit. How about this? Your defense that's improving, did it improve enough to close out that game? No, it didn't, you assholes. So take your little fucking trophy for Eberflus, the worst of all time, and get it out of Chicago. Because seriously, it ain't gonna fix.
Well, 40-inch dick asked in the chat.
Yeah, this is.
Hey, so I'm curious, what will you guys do if they bring in a new staff in QB and they bust?
The same thing we did with Mitch.
Done this before.
We'll be pissed off.
But I think people are trying to. I think this is the thing where people. You guys are pro Caleb Williams, so you're gonna push your narrative and just talk. That's not what we're doing here. If we see shit that's not right, we all wanted Justin to work out, guys.
Exactly.
We all wanted that. But we're not going to sit up here and say, great point, Claude. You're on mute. Still on mute. He's finally figured it all out.
You're on mute, Claudio. No one can. You look like a kung fu movie from the 80s.
We made a few cuts and we added a moron barber.
I know. I said I didn't know I was on mute. I said you're pro Chicago Bears. So what we want to happen is for the best of Chicago Bears. It's whether it's Caleb Williams or Justin Fields or it's Flus or it's not. And that's what it is. People want to
call out what needs to be called out. We're not.
What I don't understand with 40-inch dick is why he keeps ending every comment with the dick emoji at the end.
He looks like
a dicka. Okay.
Yeah. He probably just figured his kids just showed him how to use emojis on his keyboard. He's like, oh my God, this is so lit. Watch what I can do.
The eggplants.
Yeah.
Relax on the eggplants.
He's big and happy right now. He's big and happy. Trying to knock out all these super chats.
We'll start ripping through them. Greg's probably never seen so many.
I'm blocking. I'm not blocking.
If the game ends in a tie, that's
he wants to know.
Yeah, that's you have all the stuff, but that's positive for Chicago.
What game?
He's talking about the Panthers and
he's talking about
Packers.
Yeah, I think that helps us as well.
Yeah. If the Bears ends in a tie, what happens then? If the Bears versus Cardinals ends in a tie.
I think that's bad.
Where's Matthew Carson?
A tie is better than a loss. So for the Bears,
but our pick isn't going to be number 1. So
exactly, you're right. Doesn't even fucking
it's
matter.
The Panthers pick that we're worried about.
Talking about Panthers.
But that's why it's the best of both worlds. You can root for Chicago to fucking win every week and just root for Carolina to fucking lose. That's what was so great about having the ability to try for the playoffs, is that you could sit here and go fucking nuts, enjoy the ride, and then still have the number one pick.
Ranger Bear in the chat says Braggs has been on every show possible this week, pushing the CW,
reading his
pushing
own fucking comments.
CW hard, not to call it a narrative. It's not a narrative, Ranger. That's what I'd prefer.
Just ask him who his favorite player on the Bears is. And you already know without him saying it.
Yes.
No.
Stead 232, 499.
Narrative. That's who I'd prefer if we have the number one pick. That's my prediction if they have the number one pick. But that doesn't mean I fucking root against Fields. This isn't a narrative. You guys are just trying to create a goddamn culture war that isn't there. You're trying to create this division and draw lines in the sand, and everybody's got to pick a side. You know, you guys can have that shit. I really don't care about any of that. You guys all sound silly when you talk about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've always said it's about the jersey. It really is. And right now, my list of coaches that are better than Eberflus is long. And Eberflus is the biggest problem. Now, how the damage of what he's done to Justin Fields can be debated. It can be talked about. But at the end of the day, you can't go back and fix it. He's not going to be fixed here. Even the only possible penicillin, I believe, would be Jim Harbaugh. That's the only penicillin, because he would know exactly what to do. Eberflus isn't going to do it. Eberflus hires Greg Roman. It ain't going to work because Eberflus is the head coach, the guy that's going to put why don't we run a reverse here? Let's not kick a field goal here. Let's throw a Hail Mary. Let's how about we run a fake and we'll toss it this week. Next week, we'll run a jet sweep to a wide receiver.
That's what will be so nice about Tomlin, Harbaugh, or Bill Belichick. I think any of those hirings, if they happened right after the season, would bring this fan base together because they
really
trust
sounds
those
like
guys.
Belichick's heading west.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying guys that have credibility like that, I think would start to push the fan opinion to the side, and fans would get behind the coach because you trust their resume.
He gives you your answer at quarterback because he's either going to come in and say, I don't want a rookie quarterback. I can unlock Justin. And then everybody he has so much credence to what he's done. Everybody's going to be like, all right, let's fucking roll. Let's ride. Let's go win the North.
Right.
That's
nobody's trusting
I don't know what Ranger Bear is saying here. Can you decipher this, drunk Greg?
I just said I'm not all in on Fields. I just don't believe in Caleb Williams. Once again, you fellas are part of the problem, assuming. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
I just don't understand what he's talking. Assuming
Caleb Williams is a pussy and he's mentally weak, and we should build it around Justin. It's fine. Thank you, Ranger Bear. Appreciate you.
Claudio is definitely part of the problem.
Yeah, always.
Problem. We're sitting here. We've been so right about shit, and you can hold Mac Jones's balls for all I fucking care. I don't care. I've been right about Nagy, fucking Leno.
I love all
the fucking offensive coordinators. This team has been a travesty, run by a fucking family.
Bears fans have to set their bar higher, Phil. That's
what
it comes down to. It's always we like this guy, so it's gonna get fixed. It happened with Jay. It happened with Rex. It happened with Mitch.
I love Jay Cutler, but moving on from Cutler doesn't take me away from the Bears. It doesn't. Fuck you. We have fun. I want to cheer for the Bears. There's nothing personal here. To say Justin Fields sucks is not coming out of our mouths. It's just not. He's just He is an elite talent.
I think there's still a
Athletically,
legitimate
he's got-
chance he's back here next year. You know what I mean? If you don't get number one,
Right.
that
and
is
that's
my
what I'm
quarterback
saying.
next year.
Again, with our, eggplant freaking Ditka, 40-inch Ditka saying, I don't know why this has to be so black and white. We've literally talked about like 12 different scenarios here, including Justin Fields returning.
Maybe he's talking about Caleb versus Drake May.
Yeah, maybe, but to me, it's like, come on, guys. We're talking about all these different scenarios. We're talking about what we prefer, what we think the GM's gonna do. Nobody's a part of the problem here. We're doing a show. Each of us do 7 shows a week where we're talking about all these different. You guys are here, engage in the conversation. Don't bitch about it. If you want, do your own damn show 7 times a week and see how many different scenarios you come up with.
Exactly.
Right. We only have certain scenarios that we could bring to you.
need more
Yes.
scenarios.
If this is where I would be comfortable with Justin Fields. There's only 2 guys as a coach that I believe as head coach, Mike Tomlin and Jim Harbaugh. Those are the only 2 guys that I would feel comfortable. Even Belichick, I wouldn't feel comfortable with Justin Fields. I don't think he would move with Justin Fields anyway. So that's where I am right now. So if you can't keep Eberflus and Fields. You just can't. It's not going. You're going to now find another offensive coordinator for Justin under Eberflus, who's not a good head coach. Guess what? We've done this shit before.
Right, but the same people that are saying
That's
that
a
you have
possibility, though.
the same people that are saying that you have to move forward with Justin, let's just say they do that. And then we still have the same issues in a year or two, and Caleb Williams blows up. Those same fans are going to be the ones that are be like, you were right there at number 1. You were right there.
Exactly.
You were looking him square in the face.
I remember people poo-pooing Tariq Cohen selection during the draft. He's so small for this. Destroying it. We were covering the draft. Then August comes around. Those same motherfucking people who have podcasts and shit are like, Tariq Cohen is the man. He should be starting. What are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. There's so many fucking.
Where's all the people? Where's all the people that had that energy for how dare you take Jaquan Brisker over George Pickens? Where are those people right now? George Pickens.
That didn't happen on this network. I'll tell you that.
Happened here.
Right. Not only is George Pickens looking like a malcontent, but Jaquan Brisker has been balling out lately now that he's able to, stay on the field for 4 quarters. So
one of his teammates hurt in a minute. He's just flying in there.
Yeah, he almost took out. He
is a lunatic. He is a lunatic, but that's to your point.
On the show.
Nobody's coming out saying I was wrong about the George Pickens pitching that I did for an entire year and a half.
And there was a bunch of them. And they all have podcasts too.
Conte, you wouldn't be talking about Caleb Williams. If the Bears won it, you would still be having the conversation because you're gifted the number 1 pick.
Still might have the number 1 pick.
Again, okay, so Mr. Inglewood in here says, but again, DPP wanted Mac Jones. The difference is here, or what I do, we aren't afraid to admit when we were wrong. If we said something about a player, we're going to own our own receipts. What we're talking about when it comes to George Pickens or anybody else, the people that had this energy the wrong way 2 years ago are not pulling their own receipts.
But
that's the difference.
Do this, Mr. Inglewood. Who did you want in the 2021 draft at quarterback? Who did you want? Put it in the chat.
Well, he's gonna say he wanted Justin Fields.
Well, great. He might get fucking traded. And guess what? We won 3 fucking games last year, right? And how many have we won this year?
It's hilarious.
Well, he could be out just like Mac Jones is, right?
Exactly.
So what kind of a fucking victory lap is that?
That's your mic drop.
We made a great point before, Phil. You have Belichick and the Patriots that took Mac Jones. I think they know a little bit about football. At that point. Okay. Oh, Greg did.
A great point.
But that's a great point.
Belichick
and the Patriots and Belichick especially knows a lot
And
about
they've
football,
done
knows a lot about
nothing.
quarterbacks. So to say that, well, Phil liked Mac Jones, and Mac Jones didn't do good, so Phil doesn't know what he's talking about or whatever. It's ridiculous.
Look at Mac Jones' his stats before. They're better than Fields, his passing numbers. When you come out here giving me rushing records, I'm thinking you're talking about a running back, not a quarterback.
Well, Tom
And we
Waddle
don't
had a
do
great
that
point
stuff.
today when people are throwing out
wasn't putting
stats
a
with
great-
Justin, and they're including the rushing portion of it and then the rushing touchdowns on top of it.
Yeah.
But they never put in the fumbles.
They don't put in the 36 fumbles, 37 fumbles. They don't put that. I don't give a fuck. I, to this day, would still do what I would do. 1A, 1B, and 1C. They were this close. It was, I always fucking forget the fucking kid's name. I don't know why this happens in my brain, but the Jacksonville quarterback was 1, and I would have selected him. The Bears traded up. Trevor Lawrence, thank you. Lawrence was 1. No one talks about that. It just because I was never afraid to put my name to it. And to Shane's point, and many other points.
I just got a notification on my phone from a comment that was left on YouTube from one of the TTNL shorts that was left, and this is what it says. Wait, didn't DDP want the bust in New England over Justin Fields? At least Justin Fields isn't getting benched every week. Own it, DDP. This is what we're talking about. No, this is a comment on YouTube. It just popped up from a TTNL short.
First of all, Caleb Williams has way more. If I was to look at Mac Jones versus Caleb Williams, it's not even fucking close. Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams could move and run and be anticipatory. He's the closest thing to Aaron Rodgers you'll see. And that might make you nervous, but Jesus. How is Trevor Lawrence done in Jacksonville? This where you go define if Aaron Rodgers came to the Bears under Lovie Smith, would he be the same quarterback? No, he wouldn't.
That's where I disagree with Josh Lucas. Josh Lucas said, he said if Patrick Mahomes was drafted by the Bears, he would still be who he is. That's how good he is. And I don't believe that. Don't believe that.
Corey Wooten asked me on Monday, he goes, if Josh Allen was on the Bears this year, do you think he'd do better than Justin Fields? I said, yes. Like, I come on, guys. Like, I understand the sentiment. I understand the base of where you're trying to go with it. But at the end of the day, like he was talking about the specific play where Justin Fields rolled out and got tackled on 4th down, and he's just short. He gets tripped up because Darnell Mooney doesn't hold his block on the edge, and
that play is on Justin Fields.
The defensive back made a great play, but at the end of the day, do I think that Josh Allen would have flicked that? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, to DJ Moore wide open in the end zone,
wide open, running the fucking
wide open.
Well, Phil, tell them why that's on Justin. And
the reason it's on Justin, and I'm going to break this down for our patrons tomorrow, but here's a teaser, and I'll show you. When you run boot off of that, you have to get depth. You have to get depth.
And
coming out of
you can't be tight to the line of scrimmage.
You cannot be tight. You put Darnell Mooney and 180 pounds of him in a difficult situation, and Mooney does a great job there. I'm sorry. The dude gets paid on the other side, made a great play. Had Justin, when you boot, you have to get depth and get around, and now you can see the throw or you can take off. There's zero chance that kid makes that fucking play. There's zero chance if you get depth. That's the coaching point. These are the things, the little things. The little thing. I'll show you. You could disagree. EJ, I will show you on tape. It doesn't lie. You'll see it right there. It never lies.
So you're going to be proud of me, and I just texted you it, but I texted Nick on Tuesday I said,
Yes.
if you have a chance to ask Luke Getzey about that 4th and 1, I'm curious about the depth of Fields' rollout.
You
Was it
wrote
deep
that?
I just texted you it. Here's the proof. Tuesday, December 19th. And Nick
Look at
said,
that.
you got it. I'll put it on the list for Thursday to ask questions.
That's exactly the truth, bro. I'm telling you, as a coach,
You're
Nick
rubbing
will
off.
get-
I'm gonna
Nick
start.
will get up there and-
I'm gonna start doing tape breakdowns next.
And Nick will get up there and say, "Got any cool T-shirts planned for the offensive lineman?"
No, that's a Patrick Finley question.
listen, I want, and people forget, I was ecstatic that we got Justin Fields. I will remind people that people were saying we don't want to even draft a quarterback that year, if you remember correctly. And the Bears were possibly going to stay there and draft an offensive tackle who's now on the Vikings, Darisaw, if they didn't get up there to get Fields.
That was
That's
their
what-
if they
right?
didn't make the move for Justin, their target was Christian Darisaw.
We spent the whole, and I mean the whole offseason, breaking down the offensive tackles and quarterbacks. The Bears moved up and got one of my top quarterbacks in the draft. I had Mac Jones rated a higher than him. If it was me drafting, it would have been Mac Jones. How he would have fit with Matt Nagy's offense, we'll never know. But it's where you go and how they coach you and what they do surrounding you. And I'll be the first one to tell you what the Chicago Bears have done to Justin Fields is negligence. It's a disservice putting him in this offense with a first-time head coach and a first-time offensive coordinator coming off a shitty offensive coach who was there a year too long. And now you have what it is now. So this is where I am with Justin Fields. You ready to turn the page and go another way, unless you get a solid as a rock head coach who understands the importance of the quarterback and build the offense and to his attributes. You're never going to win. And it's too damn long that these fucking clowns like George could be the nicest guy. Inside, he's probably a fucking dick. He could put on a show for you fans, whatever. But I'll tell you, it's a dick move to continue to fucking let other people outside of the organization decide who's going to be the head coach. Bill Polian, Ernie Accorsi. They fucked up this whole thing. And they've made this shit show where all these little fucking fantasy nerds can go out there, do tape breakdown, do this. They don't know shit. They don't know shit. And me and Shane go in there for 2 hours to show you. And we're still going to get that shit? Come on.
I'm just a fan. I'm not a football evaluator. I'm just a fan. I'm not a football evaluator.
To get back to the fumble thing real quick, and I was just looking it up, and over the last 5 games, listen, this isn't a piling on Justin thing. If you have the number 1 pick, we've all said where we're going, and that's fine. But somebody had asked the question in the chat about the fumbles, trying to say that it's not that big of a deal. Over the last 5 games, does anybody know how many touchdown passes Justin Fields has?
1.
3.
4.
Yeah.
And he's got 5 fumbles.
Yeah, it's not good.
But that's
and how many sacks too since he's returned. I'd be curious if you could find that, because that's the two things when people when Brian Poles came out with
over
his
the last
statement
5 games, he's been sacked 15 times.
Right. And so this is what people have to understand.
Yes,
he's shown
Greg,
some
think
flashes.
about it.
He's gotten
Poles
he's
said it. Go ahead.
right. Poles had 2 things he said. He has to be blown away by the rookies coming out, or the college quarterbacks coming out. But then the other thing he said was, what he was asked through Ian Rappaport, it was from Ryan Poles, no doubt about it. What does Justin Fields have to do to be the quarterback here next year? And he didn't say, well, he's already shown, we know what he's capable of. He's our guy. He said he has to show consistency He has to eliminate negative plays. He has to operate well in the 2-minute drill. He has to show he wins games at the end. And so when you look at this now with the fumbles, like he said, more fumbles than touchdowns since he's returned, 15 sacks, up and down play. Yes, there's been moments and flashes of brilliance, but at the end of the day,
if you go back and watch Eberflus' comment on the 4th and 1 when Justin got stopped short. It was a great defensive play.
It's a great play.
If I think it might have been Patrick Finley that asked him, does he have the option to pass on it? He's like, oh yeah, he does.
Yep.
That reaction to me was Eberflus. That was him not being happy.
Yep.
And saying when they're looking at it, because Phil and I were on the phone with one another. Phil had the all 22 up and he's like, let me reverse this and look at it from the other side. And he's like, oh yeah. Oh, you remember, Phil, what I'm talking about there?
Yes.
You can't
it's wide open.
You can't miss
it's a feel thing. And I'm not going to
with you. Josh Allen would stop, drop, and fucking rip it down the fucking.
And I'm happy to admit to the people that are like, oh, you're pushing an agenda. If Justin Fields had decided to try to throw that and it's incomplete, am I bitching on my post-game show that he didn't just run it? Probably, because I'm a fucking idiot who's going to look at the results and react to it emotionally. So, yes, you can say that, but at the end of the day, what great players are defined by are the great plays they make. I can't control this. As a fan, I'm just going to react to things. And if he didn't make the play one way or the other, whether he's going to run it or pass it, that's all you have to go off of. And the great players just find a way. And it's a shoestring tackle or a flick of the wrist, drop in the bucket, throw to DJ Moore. Either way, there was a play to be made, and he just simply didn't make it. Credit to the defender, great play, but at the end of the day, it just didn't get done. And that's where I keep coming back to. Improved? Yes. Good enough? No. That's the whole point. And when you talk about, 40-inch stick has got me in, I got him in my sights right now. He makes this elite play, rolls out of the pocket. We understand he has that capability. Nobody is denying that. But you cannot plan or predict those kind of plays. He has to show the consistency on the plays that aren't off script, that aren't these amazing elite.
Kurt Warner said you can't live in the highlights. You can't live there.
You can't live
there. And it's true.
It's true.
It's got to be a part of your game, but it can't be all of it. You've got to be able to do the scripted
3, 5, and 7-step drops. He's not been consistent.
And then hit him with those elite, rare, unbelievable plays.
Now you're breaking.
That can't be the only 3 plays you make in the game.
I'm with Gio here. I know exactly what he's talking about. Me and Shane were going over the tape to see where he exactly stepped down. They actually spotted it right.
They did on live. I was like,
we never got a fucking replay of it. Fox did it or whoever.
Because it was about another 12 yards that he went.
Yeah, he started running some
live.
more.
I was like, holy shit,
it was a hell of a play by Tyler Scott.
He needed to have a big
right because he had the drop right before it.
Yeah. But he's been a discipline for a person that got as much hype as he did.
He dropped
I put Roshan Johnson in that. Another guy that got a lot of hype. To me, Roshan Johnson looks like a plodding running back.
Yeah, I don't know how Foreman isn't in there more. But I got to say two things.
Well, did you see his pass blocking in the Browns game? I think that was definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert?
No, Deontay Foreman.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad.
Well, and this is where this is a great point, and I'll give your coworker credit here. Adam Hogue brought up that he thinks that the pass blocking from the running backs has been worse since Walker got let go. The running backs coach.
Yep.
And so that in and of itself becomes a coaching issue because the running back coach is gone. So how much of an emphasis is being made in the running back room that this has to be better? This is what we're doing each and every day. It's instrumental in what we're doing. So that falls back into your head coach's lap yet again.
Two things, a couple other points.
We're not taking Justin Fields' talent for granted. I think it was 40-inch Ditka or whatever the fuck his name is saying that. We're not taking it for granted.
This is like the 40-inch Ditka segment.
Right. We're not taking his talent for granted. We're saying that he's talented, but you can't live in the highlights.
Right. Let's look at this. After the big catch, Justin misses again, throws one over the head, and we look at these things because you're in field goal range. Now you have to play smart.
Right.
You have to play smart. And he didn't. Now, whether it was the play calls or what have you, you got to stick that ball on the outside, get your field goal kicker in range, and it ends on a Hail fucking Mary. And people are destroying Darnell Mooney. I get it. I'm sure he's killing himself for not. But I'll tell you, as a short guy, I've been in those Hail Mary rebound, and you get it off the rebound. It's a difficult thing to pull that in, and it shouldn't have come down to that. If you're bringing it down to that, it's the same argument. Tunyon, yes, he should have caught that. Tell you what, he ain't scoring. I'll tell you that 100%. He is not scoring. He's getting tackled by the number 44 is giving chase, and he's got the angle if he caught it. The next play, Justin actually hits DJ Moore for a big gain, and you're moving again. So and just like you said, Tyler Scott, before this play that he's talking about here, he drops that high point ball. And people, the drop there. No, the next play, he breaks it down the sideline and gets you a first down. So it moves the chains. So you can't just, this drop, that drop. I'm all for, but you got to look at the reality of the whole picture here. The whole picture.
And the biggest part of that picture is money. Again.
Oh, yeah. And that's the end all be all. The end all be all. I'm always going to root for this team. I will never hide. This right here in this part of the season, it is the hardest thing for me to watch this coach and this staff just piss away what I know you should win. Like, this team should be in the playoffs. Serious.
I agree.
Why aren't they? It starts with the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and then the quarterback.
Phil, let's give the masses some DDP film just a little bit. And this is the one that you and I talked about. This isn't from this last game, but this is what we're talking about when we're talking about Justin Fields making things difficult when they don't need to be.
This is from me?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is the Lions game, and this is the if you watch Cole Kmet, this is the one that I think I had sent you this clip. But everybody would just watch Cole Kmet here and tell me what
this is a touchdown. This is that play. So he's got two safeties high. And he's got a beater.
Where's Justin looking right now, Phil?
He's looking at down the field. I don't know if he's at Mooney or Cole Kmet. Now he's looking at Kmet, clearly.
Yeah. So does anybody have any guesses where this goes?
The ball should have flown to Kmet there.
But this is what we run into. So the end of this play, Justin buys time and ends up throwing back across the field, and it's a completion to Cole Kmet. But it ends up being holding on Darnell Wright when it could have been ripped to him right off jump. So let's just play that again.
Actually holding on Lucas Patrick.
Or Patrick, my bad.
Right.
My bad.
Well, both guys held. Like, if you look, it's
Patrick,
Lucas and I think Nate Davis that both hold here. And it's totally on display when you talk about, he makes the elite rare play. he
Phil,
could have just made the simple play. Instead, he has to
if
roll
you're
out.
breaking this down in front of the team as a head coach. You can't miss that. And this isn't just a one-off. This is happening a lot.
Well, and go to the end of the play too, because this is the total point when you talk about narratives, because and not everybody's on Bears Twitter, and you're probably better off for
1,
it.
2, 3, 4. He's rocking back. See him rock back. Now he rolls. You've caused that holding.
Right.
Then he throws off balance. Look at him falling to his left across the field.
And I saw
dangerous.
Fields fans on Twitter clipping the end of that throw saying, "Look at how amazing that throw was."
Well, and Greg,
right there
was Fields fans on Twitter saying you can't throw this to Kmet here because it's going to get Cole Kmet killed.
Then they don't know football.
Exactly. It's
'Cause he's
embarrassing.
right on the
Okay, then how about who's the guy at the top of the screen? If you don't want to throw it to Kmet, throw it to the guy at the top of the screen as the cornerback is bailing out.
That's Tunyon on the curl. Look, the hash mark to where 31 is, the safety that can only stop this throw,
right,
is at least 20 yards away from that other hash. Okay. So had he thrown it and gripped it and ripped it, he gets it. But I want you to pull it back. Yeah, perfect. Now watch. He gets the snap. Watch him, Greg. He becomes 5'11".
Yeah.
Watch how he gets
in the
down.
pocket. Well, Phil's saying that he's 6'3", but he's making himself shorter in the pocket.
Watch him. See him? See how he spread his legs?
Super wide base.
Super wide. And now he squats.
Yep.
See it? So now he might not be able to see because he's squatting instead of standing tall and delivering this fucking dime right.
That's
right
where
on the hash.
That's simple. And this is the thing. And I'm not a Getsy guy, but these are the things like the play to Tunyon. That's Luke Getsy's play. Tunyon didn't make the play. But if we're breaking down tape and we're seeing guys open, that's Luke Getsy's offense. That's getting these guys open. Where Luke Getsy fails,
One, two,
where Luke Getsy fails is he sucks situationally. That's his biggest problem.
Now watch his next movement here. And again, I did it 2 hours. He drops back. See him?
Even right here, he could still throw. If
you
want to give up on Kmet, you still have Tunyon at the top of the screen.
Exactly. You still have the curl, but you don't give up. He gave up. He didn't see it. And you're just sitting there in your room. Throw it.
Well, and when you're watching it on TV, you don't see these guys flashing open. And so
actually blazing game out there, I think.
Why they split him wide as much as they do, I'll never know.
It is
it's blazing game.
Yeah, they split him wide all the time.
That was the first.
They've thrown him like one ball while he's split wide, but yet some of the biggest failed plays of the year are
the very first play of the season.
Vikings game, exactly.
He ripped it out. Remember, it was the blazing game.
Yep, the first game of the year, and then the first game against the Vikings, where he eventually got hurt at Soldier Field, where Justin Fields correctly shifted protection right, knew the defender was going to come free off the edge. Blazing game was the first read. Why? Who the fuck knows?
Jared must have just tuned in. Yeah, he's drafting.
He's running back. And what happened? Blazing game is wide open. He hesitates, he hitches, and then he gets laid out by the defender against the Vikings. That's his biggest problem. Can he read pre-snap? Can he diagnose a play? Can he see what the defense is? Can he check out of things? Yeah, he can do all of that stuff. But when the moment comes to rip it, more times than not, he hitches, he hesitates.
I've already dropped the mic on this. Again, if you're not a patron,
this is the thing. So if
be there tomorrow, I'm going to show you.
Missed 5 guys the other night. That's fine because Justin If Hurts is doing it, Justin can do it. Jalen Hurts was in the Super Bowl, playing in the Super Bowl last year. Jalen Hurts also isn't healthy this year. And I'm not saying that he's playing fantastic. He's also turning the ball over too much. But I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts. And I don't want to hear the excuse every quarterback misses open guys. I had a guy on YouTube come at me and say, I have a whole library of Patty Mahomes missing wide open wide receivers. Imagine trying to make that fight.
Yeah, but none of this shit matters because if okay, you want to make the argument if Justin Fields was on the Eagles that he'd be better right now? Go ahead, make it. If any quarterback in this league was on the 49ers, would they be better than they are right now? Absolutely. None of that matters. What matters is what the Bears' decision they have to make. And you're saying, well, he could be better in this situation or that situation. Even if that were true, and it may be, it doesn't matter because the Bears have this decision in front of them now. And if you keep Fields, you have to pay him. And that's the whole point. What Jalen Hurts is doing with the Eagles or what Fields would do if he was on the Eagles, none of that matters. What matters is what the Bears are going to do going forward and what's the best route for the next 5 years.
There you go. We've said a lot, broke down a lot. Let's get into the super chat and wrap.
You knew it wasn't going to be an hour and a half show. That was.
No, but we're getting out of here by 11.
We're getting out of here. So we got 8 minutes.
I'll go all Steven Johnson, Chris Zorich on
Chris Zorich. I believe Dave Tobe deserves a chance if Harbaugh is not available. He's an assistant head coach for the case.
The rumor with Dave.
He doesn't interview well or something?
No. It wasn't that. It was that teams were turned off about what his plan was for his offensive coaching staff.
Well, anything's an improvement than what we've had.
And he's also interviewed a lot. He's interviewed a lot of places also. So
he's not gotten a job. Would I mind it?
No,
I mean, it's not my number one choice, but I would definitely think it's an upgrade to Matt Eberflus.
Ryan Poles, I think if he had him high on his list, I think he would have been, he also wasn't here. And Ryan Poles worked with him, just like Eric Bieniemy.
Kerry Franklin, $10. What do you think it would take to sign Jalen Johnson after Jalen's comments today?
Well, I mean, I think you have to sign him now. I think you wanted to see the turnovers. I want to see this secondary moving forward. Minus Eddie. I think Eddie's cooked.
Yeah, Eddie's got to go.
You want to recoup that money, and you can give that plus to Jalen. But you're talking right in the range of 19 to 20 a year. I mean, the franchise is putting it right around 19.5. So it's gonna be right around there. But he's 24 years old, guys. Jalen Johnson is the same age as Terrell Smith, and Terrell Smith is a rookie. We said we wanted him to go out there and create turnovers, and he's done it. You have enough money, and this is a benefit of having a rookie quarterback with a rookie contract, is that you can pay guys like this.
Is Greg paying attention to this?
Yes, I am.
He seems to be tweeting or doing something. He's
giving Jenny the list for breakfast that she needs to make before.
I actually am.
I
actually am texting.
Like the eggnog right here.
Tell Jenny I said hello, please. Tell her I miss her.
Yes.
Here we go. Next.
If you're coming you better be getting loud.
That's what he says.
The show's over in 6 minutes, Jenny.
If Flus returns or a defensive-minded coach is hired, who would the 100 crew want for OC? Love y'all. Merry Christmas, family. My guy Mike V from New Haven, Connecticut. Now
as an offensive coordinator, I don't know.
I'm with you. Josh McCown gets me excited because
George, we're not for you, bro. If you think that's what we're doing, we broke down one play to prove a point that we were talking about.
I got 2 hours worth of every play. You can
just
come
stop,
watch.
George. Who the fuck spells her last name like that? Jesus.
I think he's Greek, man.
I
don't know who the offensive coordinators are. I honestly don't. Mohammed El-Me, our guy. He's probably on the side eating the pizza tonight. Is that a good pizza? $1.99.
He's in his, you know where he's got his JSN jersey on tonight.
He's happy about
walked it off against Philly.
JSN. How about Coach Pete Carroll's emotion after that game? I mean, that's what a coach is, bro.
Matt like, you guys won, right?
Dub again.
You guys did good, right?
Greg, you haven't even commented on that.
I'm trying to get. I know how this works. When we get to the super chat part of our show, that's my cue to not talk, because when I talk, then it takes another 30 minutes for the show to end. So I'm doing my job.
Thoughts on Club Dub?
Thank you, Brax.
Words or less.
Thanks for doing your
I'll
part.
give you 3.
What the fuck is 40-inch Dicka crying about in the chat? Shut the fuck up. Like somebody said in the chat, they were like 40-inch Dicka, 2-inch thoughts. Exactly. Shut up.
Club Dub, Greg.
Jesus.
Focus.
What about Club Dub? Fuck Club Dub.
Hey, I said 3 words. Fuck Club Dub. He did it, ladies and gentlemen. Laughed at player crying, then cried. My issue.
Oh yeah, Caleb, that was fucked up because he was bagging on the.
He was.
Yeah, he was bagging on the one dude that cried, and then like literally the next week he was.
Seth,
so
you need to fuck,
Seth Butler is Bragg's drunk it. Yes, I actually am drunk.
That's why he was texting his wife.
That's why I texted Jenny, because I'm like, hey,
look at him getting
game time.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him.
Jenny in the stands.
Carmen in the stands and
Jenny in the sheets.
Yeah. Oh,
was that drop?
And Kelly, $5. The man's defense allowed 212 passing yards in the fourth quarter to AAR.
Can you have your wife come in so we can tell her Merry Christmas?
No, she's upstairs.
That's fine. She's fine.
Thank you, Dan. Ranger Bears back. It's the McCaskies. You're dreaming, Phil. Floose is back. Warren isn't going to challenge them.
He's right there. He's lying to us.
Jenny.
Talking to her.
Jenny.
Jenny.
Come
on, Jenny.
Caleb Williams, I look forward to that.
We know we're not CHGO, but we count too, damn it.
Shane want to say hi to you. Come down here.
Yes, we haven't seen you in so long.
Oh, shit. Well, you were supposed to come this year for the Lions game.
If you're coming, you better be getting loud.
You obviously punked out because the Bears suck.
Coming on the plane after Dallas.
Were you there?
Phil and Shane want you to say hi.
Come
here.
on.
She's like, are you live on the
show?
Say hi.
Hi.
Greg just coined a new show for later.
Greg just what?
Coined a new show for later.
What?
He said it was going to be. Should I repeat it?
In the sheets with Jenny Braggs.
Oh,
If you're coming, you better be getting loud.
How you doing, Jenny?
good. How are you?
How much of the Christmas shopping did Greg do this year?
I did, to be honest, all online too. But yeah, he never knows. It's a surprise.
He doesn't know.
It's a surprise what the gifts are.
like
I'm looking forward to seeing what Addie got.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get Addie a lot of presents throughout the year.
Her, it's ridiculous. Yes.
Oh, every trip to the grocery, Greg's getting her something.
Exactly.
I could see it.
Exactly. And even when he shops, I can't send him anywhere alone either, because he'll come back with something for her. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just a dad. That's just a dad's job, though.
That's the dad
Yeah,
job.
you would think. Well, I guess he has to be the enforcer too, but he's the one that like spoils her more.
Jenny, are your 3 TVs crooked? Do you think that they're perfectly
He makes
straight?
fun of the one TV that's not exactly perfect on the 3 TV.
Yeah, I would say one.
Yeah, well, you
I
both
don't pay
can
attention
shut the
to
hell
look at
up.
the little ones because it's too much. I can only focus on like the one TV.
How's Barb?
Good. She just had knee surgery, so she's recovering from.
Don't worry about fucking Barb. All right.
She can't move then. Perfect. Just how I want her.
Thank you for coming on, Jenny. We miss you.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
All right. There you go. There's Jenny.
there's Mrs. Braggs, the better half.
The one, yeah.
This guy's still drinking.
Much
Look,
better have.
Still drinking too.
like Santa. Claudio's
eggnog.
What
Got
are you
the
drinking?
eggnog going.
Coquito?
What's up?
Coquito? What are you drinking?
No, eggnog, spiked eggnog. You can buy
What's
it
in
at
it?
the package store. It's like
Oh.
rum and brandy. It's like made, like it's in a bottle. It's just already made.
We went on this like outside forest Christmas lights thing.
11:01. Nobody really cares.
Oh yeah, we're wrapping up, Greg.
They gave a hot chocolate with peppermint.
Tomorrow I'm going
schnapps.
on the
It was
Santa trip.
unbelievably good.
Hey
yeah,
guys,
well, Shane's the only one that has to work in the morning.
Sab's
Yeah,
the machine,
that's right.
20
I gotta
bucks.
work
Hey
in the morning.
guys, I heard that something that made me think about the QB situation. Every player we say they come and elevate the team like Sweat, but for the QB we make excuses about pieces around him. But shouldn't the QB also elevate the team?
Well, that's
yes.
Tommy Waddle talked about that. He's like, you want to be a.
That's a great
Montez Sweat came here and was a multiplier, and that's what you want. He goes, this is Tommy Waddle saying it. He said, I find it funny that everybody's like, we gotta do this and this and this and this and this, to surround Justin with more and more and more and more. And
he's gotta make them better too.
yeah, he's got to be part of
It's a great question.
making them
Brad.
multiply. Yeah, it is.
And it's a true story. Tom Brady made a lot of people better. The great ones make a lot of people better. I'm telling you right now. And that's what tells the story later on in history. But to our big fans of Cherie, she came in, saw Greg,
Saw who
and
was
left.
here and
Yeah.
bounced.
That was the quickest.
Oh, she's such a hater. She's a hater. Her and Cars, professional haters.
Yeah.
They're gonna get coal for Christmas.
She came in, she was getting
hope-
ready to put the headphones on. She's like,
Fuck, dude.
boom. left studio.
I hope Cars and Cherie's prime rib is. I hope their prime rib is overcooked on Christmas.
Oh, they might like it like that though.
If they
fuck yourself.
It would not surprise me if Cars prefers his prime rib
Well
overcooked.
done.
Serial killer type shit.
Cars is actually a maven on the grill, man. He's a
Keys.
badass.
Keys, money keys. Okay.
Chase
Chase
Daniel.
Daniel. It doesn't make him a aficionado on. He's played. They have brought talent around the quarterback. Yes. DJ Moore.
Yep.
Okay. He's the true number one.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you can just go out there
Well,
with anybody. That's not what we're saying, but
You also have to have a point in your life where you make other players even better than they are. And we haven't seen that. Sorry. But listen, prediction. Do we do any predictions?
no.
Real quick? No.
Fine.
I'm not giving away my predictions because
All
then
right. We're
Carl
not doing any predictions. They're playing a shitty Cardinals team.
Yeah.
So, and they have
You
a
can't
shitty
beat this
coach
team.
put away.
I mean,
So
you know.
hopefully the Bears will figure it out.
At home.
Shout out to all of you guys that came here and supported us and continue. Happy holidays to all of you, and especially all of these guys on the panel tonight.
Oh my fucking God. Your lunch with Mary.
Speaking of that, next week, Dan Wiederer
Yes.
will be on with us talking about Eberflus.
We should have Dan
Justin.
Wiederer next week and then Herb Howard the week after.
Tell Dan that he's following the great Greg Braggs, please.
We'll tell him.
Actually, can you
say something to him?
Say
We'll
something
play it.
and we'll
Here
we'll
you go.
clip
Let me
it.
isolate
Yeah.
on you. Here you go.
All right.
Dear Dan.
Dear Dan Wiederer, I saw your tweet today about the positivity of the future of the Chicago Bears. And let me just speak for all Bears fans in saying we're proud of you, Dan. Hope you have a happy holiday and a happy new year. I love you.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow. That was
Lunch with Larry.
was
Kinda
way nicer
gentler
than I
Greg
thought it was gonna
Braggs.
be.
Franklin, my prediction.
And also, wait, go back.
$50. Oh, you got something
Go
else?
back one more. And
All right.
also, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So
Well, I
Braggs
got
with
that.
all love.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. Greg, we did next year, me and you have to do a TTNL CHGO combo.
Yes.
Christmas song together again. Bring
I
it
know
back.
it's been a while since I've had to do
We
a
did
song.
a great one with Poles. Remember that one? I mean, Pace. What was it?
I forget.
I
We
gotta-
had like a whole
We were
Christmas
so
album.
pissed. That's where
Yeah,
the
it was too long, right? Didn't they say it was
Oh
too
my
long?
god, we were much better than all these those producers hated us. What are their names?
Oh,
Black
Black and Abdallah? Yeah.
two haters.
Haterade.
Two haterade.
Professional haters. Quit showing that on the fucking screen.
Show.
Did someone say the show?
Show Hatani?
Stop showing that.
Listen.
You know, you're the one that's like, oh, I want to go to bed. Now you're flashing
Going
show
to bed.
air.
Exactly. We're going to bed.
I want to go to bed.
Thank you, guy. You amazing fans. We will be update. We will not be doing a Bears Hour live after Bears versus Cardinals.
Too many family obligations.
We're gonna just put I'll record a rant and we'll put that up there.
Maybe.
And that'll be it. And that's what we're doing for
Christmas
the holiday.
Eve. It's late.
It's a late game.
You
I
don't
got
understand
company
it.
coming over.
Right.
All these people, friends and family, and the Bears decide 4:00 game against fucking Cardinals. Exactly. There you go. Listen, I also want to thank Greg Braggs for jumping on tonight. Appreciate drunk Greg as well as sober Greg.
Oh yeah. I'm
Fucking
drunk.
going deep. The Justin Fields.
It's been nice. It's been nice. Drunk Santa.
Then let me do what I hired to do.
We're missing that. The only thing we're missing tonight.
Next week, after Christmas, we'll find out what Santa brought Angelo on the Dan Wiederer show.
Maybe.
All right, we're out of here. For Shane Marsaw, Claudio the Barber, and CHGO Sports, Greg Braggs. I'm your guy, Draft Dr. Phil, and this has been another amazing episode of the best Bears show on the planet, keeping it 100.
That's right.
What's up, everybody? This is NFL Network's Adam Ray.
This is Olin Cruz.
This is Matt Waldman.
This is Chris Zork from your Chicago Bears.
I'm Deion Miller.
Dan Weaver.
Hey, my name's Rashad Whitfield.
I'm Courtney Cronin.
Hey, this is David Kaplan. Listen to me. You want to learn football? Listen to my guys, Phil and Shane.
Shane and Phil. Shane and Phil. Oh, Phil.
On the Tape Never Lies Network.
On the Tape Never Lies Network.
Tape Never Lies Network.
The Tape Never Lies Network.
Tape Never Lies Network, home of the greatest Chicago Bears fans on earth.
Oh, that is just